Well, hello, everybody out there. It's me, Ed Madison, with EMPP, and this is episode number 15. This gentleman sitting across from me, he is not my kid, even though he looks like it. His name is Daniel Cabildo. How's it going, Daniel?
I'm doing pretty good.
Thanks for joining me, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. Daniel's actually a coworker of mine, and I really was looking forward to doing this with Daniel on this podcast because he's got some really cool hobbies. And I think it's so cool, some of the things that he knows about. And I don't want to spoil it because I want him to kind of introduce himself. And because we are not in a Holiday Inn for work, typically it's Holiday Inns, like when I've done this with...
Express.
Yes, Holiday Inn Express. So they don't have glass cups with little fancy paper lids on them like this. We are actually not in the Holiday Inn. We are in a Embassy Suites by Hilton. Yeah. By Hilton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for the points. So while I open up this Glen Murray Speyside 12 year, I'm going to have him say hello and introduce himself, and I'm going to get his drink ready.
Nice.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Ed. Yeah, thanks for having me. Again, my name's Daniel. I usually say I'm a Chevy product trainer from the North Central region. But today I'm here with Ed, and we're just hanging out, and he's going to ask me a lot of good questions. We're going to talk a lot about his stuff, vintage clothing, a lot of good stuff. I mean, I wouldn't say my hobbies are that cool, but yeah, I feel like I caught on to it pretty early, even though I'm still pretty young right now, right, Ed?
Yeah, I mean, he just turned 18 years old, right? Or 21, Thanks. I can't remember.
So yeah, that's the going on trend right now at work, is I'm the guy that's just graduated from high school, right into the league.
Wait, he turned 21, that's what it is, because that's the only reason he's drinking tonight.
Thanks.
This could be his first drink ever. Is it your first drink?
No, far from it.
All right, we'll get into that later too. Daniel's a good sport. I give him a hard time, but it's a caring kind of hard time, just to be clear. Yep. So he's a good kid, and I've taught him some bad habits already, it sounds like.
You have. He's taught me all the good stuff that what it means to be a man. Try and get some beard right into there.
Yeah,
upper beard.
So me and Daniel both started No Shave November, and you can see where
exactly.
I'm just kidding.
Thanks.
When was the last time you grew out any decent amount of facial hair?
So I tried a year ago. My brother actually has a beard now.
Does he? Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that if I were to get a beard, it'll look just like his. And I'm not really trying to get... I want the full-on, like I got friends that got the full-on beard. I just want to have it on the cheeks, but I know it's never going to come in.
You never know.
Yeah.
The thing is, we keep drinking Scotch, and by the way...
There it is.
Cheers.
Yeah,
thanks for being on. Let's go ahead and keep drinking this, and that'll help. So it helped me. That's the only reason I've got a beard. I just kept drinking this stuff all the time.
So yeah, I feel like a real Ernest Hemingway. He's got Ed over here teaching me how to drink Scotch and smoke cigars, and
yeah, a little cigar smoking
go
too.
Deep into my thoughts.
Yeah, it's really I find that I never did Scotch until recently, which I may have told you why.
Yeah, right.
Yep, but the cigars actually for me, and I think I've talked about this on a previous podcast. In high school, when I worked at a pizza place called Happy Joe's, you familiar with?
Mm-mm.
It's a Quad Cities original. Started, I feel like in Davenport or Bettendorf or something like that, but it's worked its way out to the greater Quad City area, and even I feel like it's went south in other states too. But there was a guy that always went through the drive-through, and we had a drive-through at this pizza place. It was dine-in, it was carry-out, and it was also there was a drive-through window when I was towards the end of my tenure there. I guess I say tenure. That sounds ridiculous, but yeah. He always came through in the middle of it was like towards closing time, so late at night, a wine glass or Chardonnay glass in his cup holder of his Lexus sedan, and he always had cigars with him, and he was cool, like one of those guys you could tell he was super chill. Right. He was the guy that had money, but I could tell he didn't seem like a dick,
like an asshole.
Yeah, he didn't seem like an asshole, and you can cuss on this, by the
nice.
way. Thank you. But he at one point he's like, hey, you wanna like a cigar? I think I gave him an extra $2 off coupon or something like that. He's like, yeah, man, have one of these.
It's a deal.
I'm like, okay, yeah, thanks. I didn't, I never really smoked cigars. I smoked a few cigarettes every now and then, but I don't smoke cigarettes, and I haven't since high school. It just wasn't for me.
Did you cut it with scissors?
cut it with scissors.
First time. First
God,
cigar.
you know what's so funny? I don't even remember, but we talked about that.
Yeah, right.
So I don't remember if I cut that cigar with scissors, but what happened was after that we were closed, I remember I shared it with the kid who I was the night shift manager, and that's why I had the
Couldn't
access to
finish
getting
it,
him
right.
more coupons and discounts. And then the my coworker, the kid who was with me in this high school, right? We basically after work, we got everything cleaned up and done. I'm like, hey, let's go, let's try this out, right?
Right.
I think at the time, I probably didn't want to bring it. It was probably end of high school, just out of high school. I didn't want to bring it home, right? It was one of those things like, all right, I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
So I don't remember how I cut it. If I feel like I had to cut it somehow,
Yeah,
or else I wouldn't have been able to draw out of
Just
it, right?
Chew on it, just throw it out.
It may have been that.
Nice.
Because he didn't give me a cutter.
Yeah, right.
He didn't give me matches.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
don't think Rambo had a cigar cutter in Rambo.
he did not.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure he just bit it off and then started smoking it.
But he's a badass, and they probably
Right.
they probably pre-cut that cigar for
Yeah,
him to bite into as well.
definitely.
Make it all smooth and awesome. But I remember smoking that and didn't finish it, of course. And my coworker, because it's the first one, right? And the coworker was there, and we were like, you could tell it was like both of us. We were just kind of overpowered by it.
Right.
That first one, right?
Right.
It's just. Do you remember the first time you drank a Scotch whiskey?
Oh yeah. Seriously.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking to you. Well, now I'm about to actually have my anniversary for this company. So in December, I'll be 1 year coworkers with you.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
But yeah, when I started,
First glass of this.
Oh yeah, first glass. We were talking Johnny Walker.
Oh.
And then I was like, yeah, I've had blues, so I'm pretty sure I know what it tastes good.
Everybody's got to start somewhere.
Well, seriously.
Yeah,
I mean,
blues.
yeah.
I mean,
Seriously. No, but blended whiskeys, right? Or scotches.
Yeah.
So my dad would always try to find something awesome to get at a duty-free shop.
Okay.
Anytime he goes from Seattle to Canada.
Okay.
So for him, it was Johnny Walker. That was like the staple. And then I actually just showed him single malt scotches.
You did. You introduced it to him.
So I showed him 12 and 15, 17, just how it differentiate from the year, the brand.
Which brand? What 12? What?
Glenlivet. So I showed
12?
him Glenlivet. Yeah, Ed's teaching me well here, and he liked it. He said it was a distinguished taste. It wasn't anything that was mixing with anything else. It was distinct Scotch. So
Yeah, it's got a very humbling taste at first if you're not used to it. But if your dad drank blended Scotch,
right,
or blended whiskeys or blended Scotch, I mean that'd be like I almost be like. I feel like if I went, so I didn't start with Johnny Walker, right? I started with this stuff. I didn't work my way up to this. I just went right into
it's like
it to
from
try it.
the first couple cigarettes to that cigar, right?
Yeah.
So you just want to know, what is it? What makes this thing so awesome, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's cool that you're getting your dad into it. And that's awesome that you got your 1 year anniversary around the corner, or right now. When is it?
December 11th.
December 11th.
Yeah.
Good deal. And so the first time you ever had a Scotch, though, a single malt Scotch, do you remember when that was?
That was, I think, with you. Seriously.
Was it with me?
Yeah.
That's
so that
awesome.
That was at Weber Grill with the guys.
Oh yeah.
Dave Crenshaw.
Big round table, right? Yeah.
Mitch Rose. So that's when I had my first one. And I tried playing it off, but I was feeling pretty good.
Oh yeah. Now fast forward to the last time we met, not this week where we're working up in Minneapolis, but what was it, last week? 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago?
The Dells.
No. It would have been Chicago.
Right.
So
CATA,
when we all went out to eat dinner that night, and I was already there drinking, and you and Todd are like, I'll have whatever he's having.
Yep.
It was Glenlivet 12, I'm pretty sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So fast forward, you remember that first one you had with us at Weber Grill? You said you were feeling pretty good, right?
Yeah.
So does that at least take you a little bit more before you get to that point now where you're like, yeah, I feel pretty good? It
really does. Yeah. So it takes a couple glasses.
Good. And the good thing is he's going to have more than a couple of glasses tonight.
I think this is accommodating more than two.
It is. And we talked about this off camera earlier, but Daniel, he's in a position this week helping us on our team. Of course, he's part of the team. And his position, would you say it's a little bit more relaxed?
I think, well, in this entire tour, we've all had our fair share of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But this last stop for me is definitely the most relaxed.
So because of that, I feel it's only appropriate, since his 1 year anniversary of work's coming up, and I introduced him to Scotch. It sounds like single malt Scotch. He should at least have a 3/4 of this bottle.
So if you want to see me drunk, just fast forward 25 minutes from now.
I'm hoping it's be longer than that. You better not be done in 25 minutes.
I'll try. Let's knock on wood.
Yeah, I've never had a podcast fall super short because we drank so much all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. Well, there's always that first, right? No, I'm kidding. I'm seriously a lot more responsible nowadays.
If you could only see the look on his face when he said that, like changed tone on his face completely. But we're going to have some good drinks and some good times. And that was a good little preface on, things that we're going to talk about and get into. So you mentioned earlier when you introduced yourself, and this is something that I think is super cool. I want to learn more about because I kind of already learned a lot from him, is vintage clothing.
Yeah.
Right. And we're going to get into that for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Before we get into vintage clothing, what else were we going to talk about tonight? Was there something else too?
Cars. That's a good thing to talk about. We love cars.
Yeah. So the traditional joke on this podcast, and I've done this, I don't know if you've seen this or heard about it.
What's the joke?
The McDonald's is who I work for.
Okay.
With my friends,
Uh-huh.
and I'm a janitor.
Oh, right. Okay. I've heard that before.
Just so we don't have to get into the
Sure.
whole like car thing and make it,
Right.
because we do
Too descript.
well, too descript, and obviously there's things that we probably don't need to be talking about with our
Yeah.
positions, but also let's face it, we do this all the time,
Mm-hmm.
right? With the car thing,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
car
we do.
thing,
Yeah.
right? So it's kind of nice just to not talk about cars sometimes.
I understand where this is going.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. For
Sometimes when I'm drunk though, and I'm in the middle of a podcast, and I'm like, "Oh yeah," like in my last podcast with Corey Wolf, we were talking. He brought up cars or something like that, and brought up, I can't remember what it was, and it went to like CTSVs from back in the day, and Pontiac, his first vehicle. I think we were talking first cars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess while I got you on here, what was your first car? Remind me if you didn't already tell me.
My first car. A 2006 Acura RSX Type S.
Nice.
Manual. Yeah, it was pretty nice.
Nice. What year was it again?
06. It was the last year they made that.
So it was that more of a the edgier kind of body style.
It's the sharp body style. I really wanted an Integra. That was just the super JDM, Fast and the Furious me. And then I started getting into it, and then I realized 6 months into my first car, I learned how to drive manual. It's awesome.
Respect.
I'm in high school, and then all of a sudden, I go to a stop sign, and a Camaro pulls up on me. I'm serious, a Camaro.
Yeah.
Like an older one, but it was a V8 one, like a 01 or 02.
Sure.
And he just blew me away.
Of course. That'd be the end of the F body style.
So
back
then,
in 02, 03.
After that, I was just like, I need more power.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to get more power, but I need more.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting a Honda Accord. No, I'm kidding. I got
I mean, I feel like their V6 is probably pretty fast in the Accord, right?
I'm just kidding. So the reason why I got a Honda Accord is so I can save up money for that nicer car.
Okay.
Right. So
Yeah.
I ended up taking a while there. So it took me a year and a half, a lot of like oddball jobs. Eventually, senior year, I got my dream car, the Fast and the Furious. I found it on Craigslist. First year, 1993 Toyota Supra. And it was manual. It had no turbo, but that body style just made me like my dream came true that day.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Large wing and everything.
The stupidest wing.
Oh, yeah.
I could like eat dinner off of that thing. So
Have like a 5-course meal on the spoiler.
it's funny that I lost it because, I gave up my first car because it was underpowered, right?
Yeah.
And then my Supra, I realized it was totally underpowered too.
Yeah,
Less
for sure.
power than the Acura.
For sure,
So
yep.
then I traded that guy in, sold a lot of stuff, valuables. When I was in high school, I really loved collecting stuff. We'll get into the whole vintage thing.
Yeah,
but
I want to talk about that.
I started collecting a lot of stuff, shoes mainly, a lot of high school. A lot of kids my age love apparel and clothing, so they'll go into buying and selling shoes, reselling them for crazy amounts of money. And after all of that was said and done, I was able to get into my first real luxury car, a BMW, a 550. And I end of story. It was like serious. I had a V8 BMW at the age of 20.
That's pretty cool,
and
though.
It was insane.
That's awesome.
And I set the standards up really high. So now then, like, when I start this position, it's like, what do I get? I can't get the little vehicle, you know. I have to get something nice.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That's what got me into
Which you wouldn't probably expect this, but Daniel here, he has a pickup truck, and not just any pickup truck.
I do, yeah. It's a 2-inch lifted stock ZR2.
Yeah.
So.
He's referring to a Colorado. If anybody's not familiar, because we live in that automotive world, you know, so go ahead.
Acronyms. So yeah, pickup truck of the year 2018. That was not the reason why I purchased it.
Humble brag, you know. That's what I drive. What do you drive? Jeez, Daniel.
I wish avalanches were still a thing.
Oh yeah.
Because I love avalanches.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I really just love it because my first ever crush in grade school, her mom drove an avalanche.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, if I can get a girl like that, I need an avalanche. So yeah, I just fell in love with pickup trucks. Seriously, especially being from Chicago. A lot of things: potholes, road construction, traffic. I'm trying to go over it.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if you got a lifted up Colorado ZR2, I mean, why not? I'm a truck guy, which you know too.
Oh, yeah.
I've always been a truck guy for the most part. Usually when I have cars, are secondary vehicles for me. They're not something that I'm driving every day, like a fun car or something, right?
Right.
Shamefully enough, speaking of manual, I have a lot of respect for a person who can drive a manual, and Daniel being as young as he is, and let's face it, you know, most 21-year-olds out there don't know how to drive manuals, right?
I think I'm the last of my kind. I know a lot of people that don't know how to drive manual. And the only reason why I got into it was because my dad drove a manual. My brother drove a manual for a little bit. And I was so into cars with everybody trying to come out with, I think at the time there was I'm trying to think, but there was just a lot of like modified parts, you know.
Oh sure, yeah.
Like my cousin had a Civic with NOS in it. I was just like, what is going on here?
Was that like a ticking time bomb with that?
It was bad. So at the end of the day, he did not get the money back from all the stuff he puts into it.
They never do.
Never. So I learned from that, and I was just like, yeah, I still love cars. How can I do this without going crazy with the bank? So I just started buying and selling a lot of stuff. Like, seriously, not illegal stuff, but like clothing, collectibles. My friend Connor, he's one of my really he's probably my best friend. But
yeah.
There's 5 good friends that I have, and Connor definitely showed me the light when it comes to thrifting. So I used to think when I was a kid, my mom would take me to Village discount outlets, and it wasn't because she was enjoying thrifting. It was because she couldn't really afford to go to those bigger department stores. And for me to kind of see that same light, but now it's like treasure hunting. Oh, I love it.
It's so much fun for you.
It's so much fun to me to go into a store and not know what I'm gonna buy.
Yeah,
is awesome.
So basically, and without getting too deep into the clothing side yet, because I still want to bug you about a couple more car things. But this is a good transition, though. It's so the clothes and the vintage items you're selling, whether it's newer vintage or older vintage, is that's helping then, like is that like your supplemental income of choice? Like mine's music, right?
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I don't make nearly the money he makes, like, you know, on the vintage clothing side.
Humble. That's being really humble.
But I feel like when you work for McDonald's as a janitor, you need supplemental income, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, McDonald's, I've said this before, they have really good 401k now, but it's not enough.
Number one first job in America.
It is.
From what I've heard. I don't know anyone firsthand that said that.
I feel like everybody starts in food service somewhere, right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Did you?
I started valeting. So I kind of took my passion. Or actually, no. That was what I did when I was transitioning, but my first ever job was at a Catholic rectory office.
Catholic what office?
A rectory office.
Well, explain what a rectory office is.
People would call in, and then I say, hey, my name's Daniel, how can I help you? And they would request baptism, wedding certificates, things like that, just so that they can get approved for marriage.
But there was a valet there.
The valet part was when, oh yeah,
Get some more ice. I don't want to touch your ice. You can just throw it in there. I'm still listening too. I didn't mind getting your ice first time because I could scoop it. I can't really scoop it this time, so you can use your hands. I'm sure it's clean, right?
Yeah. It's
Yeah. So valet though, they would come in for files and things like that, but there was.
So the valet was a mix up. So the valet part was what I did after high school in Seattle. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I thought about going back to school, but not just yet. And I thought that I would make some quick tips doing valet, and that did not last long. It lasted about 2 weeks.
Do they actually tip very well at valet?
They do not. Yeah,
they do not, especially at a Catholic related. I mean, no offense to Catholicism.
$1-2, but yeah, $5 max, and that's the person that kind of knew me since grade school.
So they were being generous.
Yeah, exactly.
It always reminds me of valet, and like at the hotels. I mean, we're in a hotel now. I remember have you ever seen the movie Home Alone before?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, where like the when he's the second one, maybe when he's lost in New York, and like the guy. The hotel guy rubs his fingers together, and he didn't know what that meant as a kid,
idea.
right?
Yeah.
Did you ever do that? Did you ever
That's the best.
Did you rub your fingers together?
Well, for valet, they
Daniel, did you really?
No, I didn't. I would hold the doors.
Good.
Honestly, valet taught me a lot of patience too. It taught me that even people that there's a lot of bad people in the
Assholes
world, and they treat
there.
people so badly.
Sure.
So it taught me the real virtue of patience, being able to see beyond that and just be like, hey, I mean, probably got some stuff going on. I can see why you're like that. But
or sometimes people are just assholes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
that's it.
Like some people in my life may say that's me. I'm just an asshole. It's just that's plain and simple. So valet though, and did you ever run into manual transmission cars when you were doing valet?
Yeah.
What was your favorite? What was your one you remembered? I shouldn't say favorite because that means he's like outbeating the customer's car in valet. What was your favorite car that was a manual?
It would have to be. It's a tie between an R8, an Audi R8.
Oh yeah,
that thing was awesome.
V8 or V10?
V10.
Oh yeah,
V10.
Nice.
Or a ZR1. Not this generation, but last generation.
Yeah, first gen.
So C7, C6.
Yeah, it would be. So it's funny. We should know this. Corvette is not something I usually deal with as much as you probably do. I got more Corvette stories too, and from when I was in the dealership. But yeah, first gen ZR
C6.
Yep.
And that thing was awesome.
Oh yeah, that had the see-through glass
the
on the
Superman hood.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, let's face it, Avalanche and ZR1. I feel like the ZR1 would probably get you more ladies for sure. But then you can only have room for one lady.
I could only go so far in that ZR1 too, right?
Yeah.
I got some potholes on the way home, so I can't really go around those.
And that ride is stiff as fuck.
Seriously.
I mean, Avalanche at least is comfy, right? Your lady's not going to be complaining when you're riding an Avalanche because it's super comfy. Just get up into it.
Plush leather sofa-like seats.
I feel like a Corvette. It's an awesome car, and I'd love to have one. And I feel like because everybody reaches that. You're middle-aged and you have your midlife crisis and you get like a
wearing the jean shorts.
Yeah. Oh my God. Those could come back and you'll maybe have access to that.
I'm gonna have an authentic vintage pair of jean shorts from when they were not cool.
That's awesome. Wait, you're saying you still got them right now?
No, I do not. Probably my dad. We'll see.
But anyway, so I feel like a Avalanche would definitely be a better vehicle. The ladies would appreciate that more than a Corvette. Even though Corvettes are cool, like I was getting into, but you got to get it down into them. They're not as comfortable. We live in the Midwest, so there's snow, the blizzard back home in Iowa and Chicago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we went. What would you do if it's going to be a blizzard? Well, you go further north. That makes more sense, right?
Seriously.
No, it makes no sense at all. So getting back to a couple things then. So you learned to drive a manual, again, on what vehicle? Remind me if you didn't tell me.
RSX Acura. Yeah.
That's what you learned on.
Oh, actually.
Your dad, you said, I thought your dad had something.
Well, that was when he was living in the Philippines.
Oh, okay.
So the story of my dad is he had an awesome 1968 Ford Mustang fastback manual. and he sold it so he could afford baby formula for my brother.
Oh.
And that's such a sad, like, inspiring but still sad story, because I tell my dad that thing's worth like 60 grand now.
Yeah.
And he was just like, your brother was worth more than that. So,
oh, absolutely. So that was in the Philippines where you own that?
Right. Yeah.
So, and because I feel like the Philippines, we're pretty close with them. The United States is.
Oh, yeah.
So how does a trade embargo, or not a trade
I have
embargo,
no
but
idea how that works.
because I feel like you can't export vehicles to some countries, right?
Right.
And obviously that Mustang was built in the United States. He had, or it was already there. Somebody had paid to ship it down there.
Probably from World War, one of those wars, right, where they have it.
I mean, is there
that
Ford
happening.
dealerships down there?
I'm not sure. I haven't really asked him all of the details. I just knew that he got it from his uncle and then sold it to a family friend. And then a couple years before this, he tried tracking down that car, and he couldn't find it.
Couldn't find it. And let's face it, at this point, like a lot of older vehicles like that, it's probably
It's
scrapped.
probably rusted out, yeah.
Scrapped. And I don't know, in the Philippines, and how long you were down there then, the Philippines?
No. Well,
never?
actually, I've been there for when I was 11. Yeah, I went for about a month.
So you went for about a month. And I'm curious, because I don't know. And usually if I'm at home, as you know, with my podcast, I do it mostly at home. I have like a computer. I can look up, things on the fly. And
Oh, yeah.
we're kind of restricted in the
Embassy Suites.
in the embassy suites.
By
Yeah.
Hilton.
When you want to start providing a PC in here or something for us to use, that'd be awesome. We could use a laptop. It just doesn't seem as,
Right.
I don't know. We keep it simple in hotels. Anyway, I'm curious if it snows in the Philippines. Never.
So right now is summer season to them.
What is summer season?
So it's two seasons. It's either summer, which is our winter here, or it's tsunami season, basically.
Oh, that sounds nice.
So in our summer time, my parents end up coming back from the Philippines to stay with my brother in Seattle for a while.
But they have primary residence in the Philippines.
Right, exactly.
So what made them decide to go back to the Philippines?
It's just like everyone else. You see the American dream. You go to America, make a little bit of money, just enough to retire and go back home and live peacefully.
That's what it was. Cool.
Yeah,
and I know, and that's pretty cool. I feel like that is definitely the case for a lot of, from what I've read and seen, where people come here, the dollar's worth more than their currency, right? So they can bank, right? You work for not a few years, a while, and then you got all the money you need, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And all the land too. So being from Chicago, property tax and land is
Cook County?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And because of that, from in our positions, we always drive, right? So anytime we drive outside of the city area, I look around and I see all this space, and then it makes me like appreciate it. It's like, wow, I really want to live this way. I don't want to hear an ambulance every 20 minutes or like people honking, because I live right on the two busiest streets of north side of Chicago.
That's where you live?
Yeah. So I always hear that. And for me, it's just, a lot of people say you're disconnected from the world, but it's so nice to be that way, to not have to worry about all that other stuff. Just kind of tend to your farm and live with your family and love, and it's awesome.
Yeah. No, I don't live in that exact
Exactly.
scenario,
You're
but
right.
living in, Iowa, rural Iowa, it is kind of nice. I mean, I don't live in the country where I'm surrounded by cornfields. I can see cornfields from my house. They're not directly next to my plot.
Nice green patch of land in front of you.
Yeah, and behind me, a nice yard and everything like that.
Right.
So, which is kind of nice, even though I hate effing landscaping and mowing. That's why I have kids.
Nice.
That snowstorm that happened the other day. So usually the kids weren't home. It was their weekend, or they were with their mom. It was her weekend, and they didn't come back because they knew it was going to snow real bad. So they just kept them there. They knew school was going to be canceled. We knew school was going to be canceled the next day.
Right.
So usually the boys shoveled the sidewalks. So me and my girlfriend, we shoveled and
Looked around and said, "Hey."
Well, we did it. It's like wish the boys were there. Joey and Tommy, if you're watching, we'll get you next time out there. So I got 2 shovels for a reason. I don't need 2 shovels. They need 2 shovels. But yeah, that's the only thing. So the only thing that sucks, and I know it'd probably be pretty nice where you're at, is that you have no no yard upkeep, no. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't, or do you have a yard upkeep? You have to.
I don't have a yard upkeep. So the good thing about where I live right now is my other best friend, his name is Philip Lamb. His parents have seen me grow. I've been friends with him since the 6th grade. And that same house where he lived at since he was born is the one I'm renting out now.
Is it?
It is.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
So his parents are like my second family.
Yeah.
Like, they seriously take care of me, and I really appreciate that. So yeah, Phil's mom and dad, thank you.
Thanks, Phil's mom and dad. Hopefully they're watching this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. I'm gonna show all my friends this. This is awesome.
This is awesome. Yeah. I'm so glad we got Daniel on here, right?
Yeah, first time ever, first podcast. Thanks for having me, Ed.
Leave a comment down below, right? Are we toasting right now?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
drinking? This podcast is not only about alcohol. We talk about other things too.
So not quite 25 minutes in yet. I think we still got.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're about 30 minutes in. Now that you bring it up, that's not bad.
I feel I'm still pretty good. Yeah.
It's going to be an hour and a half before you know it. Just to let you know. So I'm just to recap kind of what we were talking about earlier, because there was a couple things I was making sure that I caught. You grew up, your dad had a Mustang. It had a manual, right?
Yeah.
You didn't learn on that because you were 11 years old.
No.
But
Yeah.
your first manual transmission was an Acura. How did you learn a manual transmission?
In the Acura.
How did you test drive a car you didn't know how to drive?
Exactly.
This I need to know.
So from that moment when I test drove the Acura, my dad, I love my dad because he saw me stall like 3 or 4 times because we went to go pick it up, and then right as soon as we picked it up, I would drop him off at work because he didn't have a car because he went to pick up my first ever car. And because of that, I stalled 3 or 4 times on the road, and he was just like, I've had it. Get out.
And he drove?
And he drove to work. And then from that moment, it was my birthday that day too.
It was, yeah.
So after that, I was like, okay, now I got to go pick up my friends. So then I
Show it off, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going
Is Phil in the car too?
Phil comes in a little later.
Okay, all right.
I remember I had pot bellies that night, so it was a good birthday.
Sandwich shop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But besides that, I learned within that day, and then the week after that, and then I was pretty good with it afterwards, and I didn't have any more stalls after that. But yeah, the first couple of days was pretty rough.
You didn't go through a clutch?
I did not go through an entire clutch now.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. I never did either. So for me to throw my bit of history into, just to compare, so I've had 3 or 4 manual transmission vehicles, including 2 Hondas, which I'll get into here shortly.
Nice.
If I didn't tell you already this.
Del Sols?
No. Do I look like a Del Sol kind of guy?
Would you? Yeah.
That's almost insulting. No, I'm just kidding. Scotch, cigars, Del Sols. I don't think so. But what were you going to say?
No, I was trying to think. Prelude?
Yes.
Nice.
I had 2 SIs.
Nice.
But so growing up, though, let's take it before then. Let's go way back.
Uh-huh.
Let's go back to when I did not even know what Scotch was. I'll put it that way. All I knew was Budweiser.
So my age.
No, even before then.
Nice.
So I grew up in the country, and for a lot of friends that know me that watch this too, I grew up in a small, very small town. It's on my name tag, Illinois City.
Oh yeah.
My McDonald's name tag. They want you to put your hometown on it. Anyway, so I spent the first 25 years of my life in a very, very small town. Very small town. And surrounded by cornfields directly around me. And grew up riding 3-wheelers, 4-wheelers, around dirt bikes, snowmobiles, and tractors. And so I actually learned on a combination of 3-wheelers with clutches and tractor, a John Deere tractor.
Wow.
An old school John Deere tractor that we had my grandpa actually had a bush hog on. Are you familiar with what a bush hog is?
What's a bush hog?
So, like the ditches and when you drive down the road,
Oh yeah.
they go through and they cut those down.
Mm-hmm.
The bush hog is basically like an oversized mower that's on the back of a tractor that works off. I feel like it works off the PTO. I could be wrong, but it basically, the tractor
smooths it out.
it cuts out all the weeds, right? But it's this
Right.
massive. Again, I wish we had a computer here because I would just like show you the pictures on my TV. But basically, I grew up learning clutch on those types of vehicles.
Right.
So the transition for me when I jumped into my first manual transmission car, which was an actual gift from my grandparents, it was my graduation present.
Nice.
It was a 94 Ford Mustang convertible.
Nice.
With a manual. It was just a V6. So but it was a decked out, loaded up with every option, but unfortunately a V6. But it had a 5-speed. And the longest shifting, clunkiest motherfucker ever. But I basically, that was my first manual transmission car, if I remember correctly. And then I actually had, later on, I had 2 Prelude SIs. And I feel like I had another manual transmission car. But the 2 Preludes, the fun fact with those were, I worked at a dealership selling cars. And we would get trade-ins, right? We get these from...
$500 trade-ins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They ACV them for like $100,
yeah, right.
$50, $100, and show them like $500, and then I'd be like, hey, so
can I get that?
Yeah, because I always liked fun, sporty cars. I've drove all kinds of cars. You know, the Acura you mentioned. That's why I was excited about that, because you know, cars that don't have a load of power but are manuals and they're fun to drive. And
yeah,
problem is that a lot of those small cars I don't fit in because I'm 6'2".
Right.
It's not funny. Anyways, it is funny. So, like Miatas, I've drove Miatas. I drove Pontiac Solstice. Let's keep it domestic.
I drove Miatas. You got to like seriously look over the windshield.
How tall are you?
5'10" and a half.
So picture me driving.
I got to add the half.
That's fine. He's going to give him that little bit extra. But for me, I always dig cars like that because I feel like it's like driving those 3-wheelers and 4-wheelers, dirt bikes and snowmobiles. You got a fun little vehicle. You can, you know, run through the gears and, you know, just enjoy yourself. It's lightweight. Yeah. You whip it around.
That's exactly what I want in life. I want a lot of land. I want some 4-wheelers and a dirt bike and
this kid,
pool.
Man.
Seriously, that's the life right there.
Man, it's
seriously,
we're more alike than you think we are, which is weird. So basically, I had Honda Prelude. The first one I had was they were both 89s. They're both SIs.
Yeah.
So back in '89, a Honda Prelude, there was 2 models. Prelude. There was an SI. The SI basically meant fuel injected. Yeah. Fuel injected.
Right.
That's what it meant. It meant it was that, you know, it wasn't like old school. It actually had fuel injection in it. So the first one, SI, loved it. White. It was a little bit rougher shape. This was like the $50 or $100 ACV.
Nice.
And I say ACV, actual cash value. That's what... Okay, learning moment for everybody, and you know this because you've been in the dealership. So ACV, if you go into a dealership and they say, we're going to give you $5,000 for your car, Mr. and Mrs. whatever your last name is, technically they're not giving you $5,000, they're showing you $5,000. The dealership's actually putting $3,000, $4,000, $4,500 into the car. That's an ACV, actual cash value. And then they're showing you an inflated value, and that inflated value that's coming from the other vehicle you're buying. So think of it like a discount, but it's all shown in the trade, because some people, they just got to see that highest number for their trade possible to feel satisfied, right? Especially on a used car, right? They think, you know, the price is the price on the used car, but we can show you, or they don't say we can show you, but we're going to give you this much for your car.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is that ACV of $100 on that first Prelude I had, it was $100. We probably showed the customers. It was probably my deal. That's why I knew too. Probably showed them like $1,000 because usually old junkers, you know, we'll give you $1,000, and not really, but it's the same thing. So they were just going to wholesale it because we were not a dealership that liked to keep. I mean, we did have a wholesale lot, but it was nice wholesale units.
Right.
It wasn't
not a Honda Prelude.
Right. With 200,000 miles on it.
But it was all white. I mean, honestly, white Hondas hold value.
Flip up headlamps. It was my ride, man. Yeah. I saw that thing and I drove it around back to get it away from the front of the dealership because they're like nice. Out back. So like, man, this thing is actually pretty cool. It's fun. It shifting through the gears.
Yeah.
I swear that Prelude SI, the transmission shifted better than that Mustang.
I believe that. Yes.
That shit stang. Anyway, so I had that. I sold it. So I sold that Prelude because my best friend that I back in middle school, high school, Aaron Ricketts, he had a coworker and he works at John Deere. I'm assuming he still works at John Deere as an engineer, but he had this friend that just loved old Hondas. Loved them, right? Doesn't matter what the condition was. If you had an old,
He wants it.
you know, if an old Prelude or whatever model specifically, like SIs and stuff like that,
Right.
he'd buy it. He didn't care.
Yeah.
So I ended up selling it. I bought that Prelude for like $100, drove it for a year as like a fun beater, and then sold it for like $500.
Nice.
You know,
Good deal.
So I mean, again, this was like a wholesale unit, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then fast forward to my second Prelude SI, yellow.
Was it perfect?
Perfect.
Nice.
Low miles.
Uh-huh.
Paid a lot more for it. And the manager knew that I wanted it because I sold my other one. SI, same car, but yellow, less miles,
yellow. Yeah.
perfect condition. It was a teacher from a local school, not in Muscatine, this town where I sold cars, but in like one of the outer towns. He worked at one of the schools,
Kept
and
the miles
he
low.
bought a Cobalt SS from me, if I remember correctly,
Wow.
which was a 2-liter turbo, 2-liter. Oh man, I want to say turbo, but it could have been supercharged. Have I had that much to drink so far? Anyway, so, but he wanted something small still, 2-door Cobalt SS that was fun, manual transmission.
Yeah,
We had a used one that he bought, I feel like, or maybe it wasn't a new one. I think it was a used one. But this one, I spent a little bit more for it because this thing, no rust, perfect, well taken care of for it, brand new tires on it already.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was, when he traded it, you can tell when somebody cares about their vehicle.
It's nice.
It doesn't matter
Seriously.
how old it is, right?
Yeah,
They care about, they take care of it.
Yeah.
Got into an accident. The only accident I've been in my
geez.
life. Yep. So basically it was snowy and icy, and I was wasn't running late for work, but I was on my way to work, and I was going through an intersection, and I may have been trying to beat the intersection going from yellow to red.
Right.
And in front of me, somebody was turning directly after the intersection left, with no turn lanes.
Jeez.
So I slid, brakes right away, and because there's no ABS, you know what I'm saying?
Just try pumping it.
It didn't matter.
work.
It was so close.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to happen, right?
Right.
Slid right underneath the back of this old truck, and it didn't really do anything to him, but it tore
Just
up the front of the car.
Demolished it, yeah.
Well, not demolished it, because the speed limit on that road was like 35 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But keep in mind, 89,
Crumple.
not worth anything,
Yeah.
right? So it was totaled,
Yeah.
basically,
Right.
unfortunately, even though it could have been fixed. If I had more money at the time, I probably would have paid to fix it.
Right.
But unfortunately, it was like
Gotta let the ones go.
it was one of the hardest moments of my life, Daniel,
Yeah.
because that was
I believe
that was my go-to. Again, I've always been a person that's had a truck always,
Uh-huh.
and I've always had, it seems like, a fun car in the garage.
That was
Whether
your
it was
funnest
whether it
car.
was a nice one or a
Right.
cheap old one, something with a manual, right? I can go through the gears on.
Yeah.
I was so bummed because it was so perfect, that one, and you couldn't. I remember after I bought that, after you traded in it, and looked on like Auto Trader at the time, and there was no other Prelude SIs like it out there in the country.
In a 500-mile radius.
I looked all over the country and Auto Trader, and I could not find anything that was that
Jeez.
nice.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you. And I'll stop talking, but I wanted to get into that because I respect anybody that can still drive a manual transmission, because I love manuals. Any chance I had at the dealership when there was an opportunity. So even older age graphics, even older age demographics than you, even my age and older, there's still people that just never drive manuals.
They
They don't
for
feel
it.
comfortable.
Yeah, they'd rather be on their phone with the other hand or eat a sandwich.
I mean, I love sandwiches. Shit.
I'll eat a sandwich with a manual car.
I eat it all the time.
Nice.
You know what the worst part about that Mustang is that it had like one cup holder, and the thing was, it you popped out and you folded it over or something like that,
It barely held it.
yeah, it had like the little plastic arm that dropped and swung down so you could put your cup in it. You know? I had that. I feel like there was maybe not even barely that half the time, because they're like, if my girlfriend or ex-wife was riding in the car or something, it's like there's no cup holder for me. I just basically had to lap it. You know what I'm saying? Put it in my lap.
Trick with that, if you have a water bottle, I put it right next to the seatbelt harness. So I'll have it tucked in between my leg and the center console.
Oh.
So It's a good place to put drinks.
Now,
If you don't have a
obviously, not
couple.
every car that's going to work because there won't be enough room to squeeze that in there.
Right.
But I'm talking, it wouldn't have even been like a bottle of water. I feel like back then when I had that vehicle, it's not like we even had bottles of water, really.
What were you drinking?
I mean, I feel like it was cans.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Or if there were bottles, it would be like,
Uh-huh.
God, I don't even remember now. That's
Code Red.
awful. Code Red.
Mountain Dew Code Red.
How old do you think I am? Because you're totally spot on.
Well, my brother's 10 years older than me, so if I'm 26, he's 36, and he
He's my
taught
age.
me. Seriously?
I'm 35.
Oh wow, dude. Yeah, he taught me everything I needed to know, from like going into high school to what am I gonna do with my life to where do I go now. So yeah, seriously.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm
That
30.
kind of makes me realize now, like, oh, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 35.
Full
so
circle, man.
I'm basically like your brother's age then.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've always had mentors, and thankfully good ones.
Feeling old here. Thanks a lot.
Hey, no, sorry, you're not old at all, man.
I know.
Seriously,
Not at all.
not at all. I've because of the whole vintage clothing thing, which we'll get into.
Yes.
There's a guy in Chicago, U.S. #1 vintage shop in Wicker Park. You go into the store, and if you do not know vintage clothes, he will kick you out of the store.
He's uppity.
He's if you don't know him, he's a douche. But then I started getting to know him after like the second or third time I went in there with Connor. And this guy is so nice. He just wants people to appreciate all that he's been working towards. And I'm sure this guy's well beyond 80. But the coolest thing he ever told us was never stop digging.
Always
You
look for
can
that find, right? That
Always, like, even though you want to give up, even though it's so dry out there and it's all this other stuff going on where people are starting to value things that kind of don't really have value, just kind of keep your morals set and keep on finding whatever it is you want to find, because you will find it. And when you do, that's what life is all about.
Is it like finding that Prelude SI on
It's
trade?
like finding a Prelude yellow manual SI. And it's just like, wow, I don't think I'm ever going to find this again.
And I never did. There
Seriously.
was never another one out there.
And because of that, I realize it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how young you are. If it's passion. It's like energy. It's whatever energy you put out into the world. And if you're able to put out good energy, then you'll live a pretty good life.
I agree. Those are definitely some wise words to live by. And this is what...
That's second glass right there. Second
Second
glass,
glass?
Daniel. Yeah.
He's not even close to being done with that second
Sorry.
glass. Look at this lightweight.
1.5.
That's all right. He'll catch up. Again, he's. I'm going to make sure he's miserable tomorrow. I mean, at this point, I'm matching him, but at some point, I got to let him take the lead here. So, so this guy though, has got this shop where at in Chicago.
Yes.
Where you? So you said
Wicker
the name
Park.
of it? Wicker Park.
Angelo and Dominic, U.S. vintage #1 vintage shop. It's like the funniest name, but I mean, this guy is the vintage king, and we would see him a couple times at like thrift stores, not even thrift stores, but like flea markets, and he'll pretend he doesn't even know us. Like he's on the hunt. Like he doesn't pay attention to any outside surroundings. He'll find like stuff that's buried deep into collections that you wouldn't even think is valuable, but he'll know exactly what it is. I don't know if it's because of experience. He tells me all he does is thrift.
Is this like Antique Roadshow but for clothing?
Oh, jeez. I think that's where it's going now, because I have some props, right? I have a couple props.
He does. He's got props for sure.
Besides vintage clothes, there's a lot of new stuff coming out now too, and it comes from the same kind of passion, where people are making stuff because the market isn't giving them what they want.
Is it like you were showing me the artist clothing where they were like writing and drawing on those?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like that guy is a pretty gifted artist.
Can you explain, because for the crowd that's listening or watching, they don't understand probably what we're talking about. Can you explain, like you just showed me recently?
Mm-hmm. So clothing is huge in terms of vintage, because it's all about recycling. A lot of stuff back in, it's not even that long ago, 60s, 70s, was made in America. everything was made in USA. You could pick out a Nike shirt that was made in USA. Maybe it was $2 or $3 when it came out.
In the 60s.
In the 60s.
Okay.
And now if you want to try and get that, where it's considered now a vintage collectible piece, those same $2 shirts, because it was printed with that specific design on that original shirt in that condition, it could even be worn. It could be worth more than $1,000.
It's crazy. A $2 shirt.
A $2 shirt. And same thing goes with old Levi's. But basically it's all about recycling, because all that stuff that was so great and that was made proudly in America with, like, seriously the best materials ever, you could actually compare just by touching two different t-shirts, one from the 60s where it's like combed, to now where it's just like so rough. It's still a combed cotton, but there's just like a sense of quality behind old pieces.
Cheaper processes maybe, and that's what changes it for
seriously.
profitability. You gonna want some ice before I close this up?
Oh yeah, sure.
Grab some ice, man. Not to cut you off.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
I like how you're deep into this. So basically what he was trying to explain then, there's this guy who was creating clothing,
Right.
because you just said you're unfulfilled. You can't find anymore maybe what you're looking for. So you're
Right.
just creating a next generation. Is that what you're trying to say? Of
And-
clothing, one-offs?
Exactly. All
Go on.
one-offs. And basically, a little drink break here.
That's okay. While he takes the drink break, I just want to let Glenn Murray know. I know you're not watching this, but if you wanted to, I've tried, openly wanting to accept a sponsorship from a Scotch provider. I will be the biggest whore for you. I want you
Please.
to know, whether it's Glenn Murray, Balvenie, Glenn Levitt,
He knows.
Dalwhinnie. I don't know how to pronounce half these
But
properly.
he knows.
If you want to hit me up even if it's one bottle a month, I would be your biggest whore. You have no idea. I would.
But anyways.
Let's go for it. He finished his drink. I was just trying to talk that up really quick.
So, people appreciating history. Thank you. Creating stuff that no one else has made yet.
For example,
is groundbreaking.
Give me one example that you showed me.
Kevin Rosa, this guy from New York. He loves drawing, and he's the one I showed you was Bryant Giles.
Was that the pants?
Both of those guys. That's the pants.
Yeah.
Kevin Rosa. If you're familiar with cartoon, do your kids watch Cartoon Network?
Oh, they used to. They don't anymore.
So,
now they just play video games, play Fortnite all the time.
Adventure Time. Have they seen Adventure Time?
They've seen Adventure Time. Yep.
So, Kevin Rosa draws cartoons from Cartoon Network. So Ed, Edd and Eddy.
That's like way back in the day for me.
Adventure Time. I grew up with Ed, Edd and Eddy. I love that.
That's because your age.
Yeah. And he paints it onto clothing. And in an interview from Complex Magazine, they ask him, hey, what made you want to start doing all this? And it was because no one else was doing it. So he was like, man, whatever. I'm just going to take some markers and some paint, and I'm going to make it look like I got the real cartoon on my pants or on my shirt. And he's blowing up now. So congrats to Kevin Rosa, Slumpy Kev at Instagram.
Link below. You can say it. Go ahead, say it.
Link below.
If you're on YouTube.
Another guy, his name is Bryant Giles, and aside from all the stuff that he's going through outside in life, his art speaks for itself. It's amazing. He basically just draws whatever comes to his mind, and it's conceptual art, abstract art, but he does like little sketches. So he'll draw a face, and then he'll like think of something else in his mind, and then kind of like combine the face with the next thing he's thinking about, and then it turns into like a masterpiece. So if you want to see other work from him, Bryant Giles, link below.
He's got it figured out now.
But he's from Chicago. But yeah, because of this whole like social media thing that's happening in the world today, I'm not on any social media platform simply because I just want to focus in my inner life. I don't want to impress other people, but I can see why other people use it as a platform for media, because it's a way to talk to everybody else in the world, and so they can see your vision too. So for artists or for podcasts or for anything where anybody wants to know about something, that I can see why social media is taken off to extremes. But yeah, Brian Giles Instagram, Slumpy Kev, Adam and Even, which I'm going to show you in just a bit.
Okay.
Nightmare Systems is created by one of my 5 best friends, Josiah Ramirez. So I'll show you a piece from him. Those are the only 2 pieces I brought, was Adam and Even and a Nightmare piece. But it's exciting. I'm happy to know that my passion is within my life. Like I can see why I've gotten so into it. It's been like 10 years since I first stepped into a thrift store to now where it's like, all right, let's go to 7 of these stores and try to find one thing, you know.
Is that like your goal? So so for some people, like they go out shopping or they got a hobby, they want to do something, you like set out on a Saturday and like, I'm going to start this store, I'm going to hit these stores. I want to find at least 1 or 2 things today. Is that kind of your goal?
So the trick is for vintage collectors is we never reveal our tricks. But one thing I can reveal is don't thrift on weekends.
Don't thrift on weekends. Okay.
Because everyone thrifts on weekends.
Oh, okay.
And chances of you finding something on a weekend is slim to none.
Okay. That's
so
good.
Like, there's a lot of tricks behind it. Basically, don't sleep. Always be ready. And like, it could be random. I don't really think of a time or day or like plan ahead. If I wake up and I'm not doing anything that time, let's go to the thrift store. See if I can find something.
Cool.
While I'm there.
I'm going to totally ask him to share those stories and secrets off the camera. But for now, I think that's fair, though. Don't do it on the weekends.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. So before we get into the clothing, there's a couple things I want to ask you.
Sure.
So my garage at home, I feel like the next room
Lucky.
I decorate.
Wish I had a garage.
Oh, sorry. But I have attached garage to my house,
Nice.
a 2.5 car garage, or it's a 2-car garage, but it's got like an extra portion off to the side, not really for a car.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to decorate the walls at some point with like, I have music stuff from me gigging out. I'm a gigging not part-time, I'm a gigging musician, right? It's like a weekend warrior thing, which means that I don't do it for my income.
It's passion. It's energy.
It's a fun thing, right?
It's something that makes you happy. Seriously.
What I've collected over the years is posters and signs from the venues I've played at with with my bands or my solo things, like the flyer, right? Mm-hmm. And I've collected a ton of those.
Nice, yeah.
All different kinds of sizes.
I'll totally hang that stuff up too.
So at some point, I want to like create one of the walls in my garage to be focused on that, right? Just to kind of a cool throwback thing.
Nice.
So I've been playing in bars now for close to about 10 years, which isn't very long, right? But I've collected a few cool things.
Hey, that's super long.
Yeah.
Especially today.
Yeah.
Just because of this social media, people blow up overnight and their shine only lasts less than a year. So for you to have 10 years worth of material, dude, that's experience. That's like,
I'm going to really feel old now.
That's legendary.
I started on MySpace.
MySpace became a music platform.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
MySpace was my, like a lot of people's jams back in the day. But for me, we talk Facebook is where where I advertise the bands currently that I'm in and the things that I do musically. But back in the day, it was MySpace, right? Mm-hmm. Meeting other bands and stuff on MySpace and, collaborating, networking. And so I want to do that. I want to have one wall that's dedicated to the music in my history.
Nice. Which
I hope never ends until I'm old enough to the point where I'm just like, my body can't handle it anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's really what I feel like.
Which is probably never.
I hope.
Yeah.
In all honesty, though, I feel like if I do last that long, if I actually live, I feel like, this is to sound morbid, but I feel like I'm one of those people that's not going to live forever. Just the family histories and, medical stuff. So that's not anything, I don't want to make that sound completely morbid, like I'm dying or anything like that. I've had people ask me because I've...
this whole thing.
Yeah, lately I've lost a couple of pounds and I have a couple people thinking, you got cancer? I'm like, no,
man. I'm just living my life.
I'm just drinking scotch, just drinking scotch and smoking cigars. That's all I'm doing. Not working out. But and that's true too. But basically, I want to keep playing as long as I can, where my body lets me play.
Yeah.
But these walls in my garage, I got a few walls. I got one wall I'd like to do music focused. One wall I'd like to do something, or even if it's not just one wall, but like spread it out, here, something there. I'd really like to find something vintage. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about too.
Plenty of stuff to put in the garage.
But it's very specific though.
What are you looking for?
I have 3 things that I'd love to do. I'd love to find things that are, I thought about Scotch, not bourbons, not American whiskeys. I know that's going to be even tougher to find because it's not like they produce that stuff and it's readily available here in the United States. That'd be the toughest one. The one thing though that I would like to do, remember how I grew up, where did I learn clutch on? Do you remember the things I learned? Tractors, 3-wheelers, and dirt bikes, 4-wheelers, whatever it was. Yeah. So 3-wheelers was my thing back in the day. Had a few of them that I rode on. And I idolized, I've always been, so Hondas is always what I've been, when it came to brand focused. Yeah. I love to find some vintage Honda 3-wheeler, stuff, or it used to be called ATCs. So ATVs is all-terrain vehicle, newer 4-wheelers. ATCs was all-terrain cycle, which doesn't make much sense because cycle you think two. But it's ATC was all-terrain cycles, meaning 3-wheelers. I love to find some old Honda.
You could find parts, even the frame. You can have that just kind of
something,
hung up,
whether it's parts or like
advertisement.
I'm thinking advertisement, something I can put up on the wall.
So anything that old, you might have to look for, like porcelain signs, flea markets, huge. Yeah, especially because Honda is such a big, just like every other brand. There's always a loyalty behind it. But there's plenty of advertisements that you can find. A lot of times, though, for like 70s and 80s stuff, because of
the 80s, mostly for the ATCs, the 3-wheelers, be a lot of 80s focused stuff. Because they stopped in 86. Go ahead, though.
Because it wasn't that old, it ended up being advertisements made out of cardboard. So, like, in the 80s, it was always like life-size cardboard displays.
Is that when that started, in the 80s?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Before that, it was metal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everything was made out of tin or like porcelain, and those are things that are valuable today. But even those cardboard signs from the 80s can be valuable because cardboard breaks, right? It deteriorates.
True.
If you don't take care of it, it's not going to exist. But if you do have something like that from the 80s and it's still intact, demands a pretty penny.
If you ever came across something that's why I'm bringing this up too, because obviously for me, I have so much going on in my life with 2 kids and my music and my family, and what am I missing? Oh yeah, work, because we're here in Minneapolis. So if you ever see anything out there, I would pay you to get, a premium to get.
I'll find something for you.
Well, you don't have to find it, but if you run into something that, in a few categories, Scotch, cigars too would be the third one. And ATC, Honda, as random ATCs. As that fucking seems, Honda 3-wheelers from the 80s.
You're going to be surprised if I do find something. I'm going to specifically try to find something that's Honda related from the 80s. Yeah.
So for me, like the 3-wheeler thing was so much fun because I grew up in my teen years, my early teen years, you know what I'm saying? 10 to 15 or whatever. I dominated, broke my back riding those things. There's no suspension on those back in the day. If you're familiar with what I'm talking about,
I'm sure.
No rear shock
from the 80s. Yeah.
No rear shock.
No ABS.
Just
what is ABS?
No, front and rear brakes. Not just one brake, but you controlled front and rear brakes like a motorcycle, right?
Right.
Same, or a bicycle.
Yep.
Same thing, right? But I used to really be good at that. And even though I don't currently own a 3-wheeler, the pinnacle, what everybody considered the pinnacle of the ATC age for Hondas was dominant back then. I mean, now there's other brands that do really well, like American Polaris, or
I still remember those Honda racing signs with the wing and the little checkered flag.
All that stuff. It's super cool. Honda So I used to be in when I was big into four-wheelers, when I could afford to get a four-wheeler of my own instead of riding three-wheelers in the family. I was part of the Honda Riders Club, which was you know what? When we talk vintage, it makes me wish I still had that stuff, because it was like when you were part of the club, you got the
free stuff.
The unique free stuff, right? And I always cherished it and held on to it. And then at some point, moving between houses, and I'm like, I don't have it anymore. Like a four-wheeler even. I'm like, I guess I get rid of it, or... I would love, though, even though I don't have an old three-wheeler still, I would love to have something Honda related. And again, back in the day, just to finish my thought, there was a Honda. So two-strokes used to be a thing. You know what a two-stroke is?
Oh, yeah, of course.
You know what I like about Daniel?
Because I just got my motorcycle license.
You did?
Yeah. So I got it in the summertime, right before my 26th birthday. And I was just like, dude, I got to find a bike, but I think I'll wait on it till it starts to snow outside, and then I'll
get a good deal
find that guy that wants to get rid of his. Yeah.
That's why I respect Daniel. He not only drives a manual transmission, he knows what a two-stroke is. So back in the day,
Enduro
on off-road, right? So back in the day, Honda three-wheelers, there was a 250R. It was like the pinnacle. They claimed it was like the top line race three-wheeler because it was two-stroke.
I bet that thing was fast.
And it was fast. It was faster than anything. It was faster than the Honda Tri-Zs or the Yamaha Tri-Zs and the Kawasaki Takatis. And
wow.
It was like it was the one that everybody wore when you went to the races. If that was the one that was ripping around and beating everybody, destroying, right? Because I feel like, and I could be wrong, and people could be yelling at me in the comments because I got rednecks that watch this that are probably going to curse me out on this. But I feel like the 250R was a two-stroke from a 250 dirt bike. So typically what the manufacturers do, like Honda's always done, they take their high-tech racing dirt bike powertrain, and they just put it in a three-wheeler, or they put it in a four-wheeler, right?
Sure.
That's what they've done. So... But I would love to someday have an old 250R two-stroke three-wheeler, or they made the largest four-stroke was a 350X, which is a So think about 350. I mean, that doesn't seem large when we think of Harleys and Victories and all these other brands. Even a Honda Goldwing.
But in a four-wheeler?
And a three-wheeler.
In a
three
three-wheeler?
wheels. 3 fucking wheels.
Jeez.
Something that weighs like 200 pounds, 300 pounds, but has a 350cc thumper in it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking monster. So I would love to have something like that again. But I feel like even if you found, or I found, but I feel like you probably run into before me because I don't have the time to search. If you ever run into anything old Honda ATC related, even though I didn't have those two performance three-wheelers I told you about just now, if I idolize those, and even though I can never afford them or find a good one, it's, you know what the deal is now with those old three-wheelers? If you find them, they're destroyed. There's nothing that's out there barely still, unless you get a barn find.
Until you restore it, right?
Or if it isn't a barn find, you're spending money to restore it, and then the supply, nobody builds parts really anymore. So you're like getting...
You got to machine your own.
Or whatever,
Isn't that crazy? There's no parts in existence, but somehow people still find a way to get them on the road driving.
I know. Think about cars too. So the Preludes we talked about earlier, and the Acura or whatever, think about the old cars that we like. I mean, obviously there's going to be some third party out there that's probably going to be supplying or building parts just for that, right?
Right.
I just want to throw that out there. Before we get into the rest of what Daniel's going to share with the vintage stuff.
I'm seriously going to put that on my list because, just like I said, you go into a store, you don't know what you're going to find. You go to a flea market, there could be 10,000 things there. And one of those things could be that Honda porcelain sign just hanging up.
If you found that, I would.
They'll say it's $50, and I'll just be like, all right, let's go.
I'll pay you profit. I want to make sure Daniel gets profit. I want that on the record. All this is on the record. So, and again, if you happen to run into something, you just let me know, and I'll pay you for it.
No, seriously, I would give it to you free of charge.
No,
I would find that thing, and I'll try and get a good deal from it.
No. So I'll tell you about this again after we're done, but there's 3 major things, and it's the weirdest combination again. Anything Scotch related, not Irish whiskey. Scotch.
We're almost done with that, believe it or not.
We got plenty to go. You got to keep drinking. Anyway,
sorry.
Scotch, cigars, and Honda. Either Honda's ATCs or Honda Rider Club, HRC, Honda Rider Club of America. I wish I still had that stuff because I feel like...
What happened to it?
I feel like moving between houses again, and
Kinda
it's like I got away from the country at one point. It was in
Right.
directly in town setting, and I'm like, oh, well, I don't have the toys
Move it
anymore.
around and it's getting
I
lost.
sold my 4-wheelers, and I didn't, I'm like, oh, well, just. I even had the Honda Riders Club in the back of my old trucks. They were like the stickers that came with it. I had put in the back window of my truck.
Well, the new thing now is the whole Truck Legends thing.
Yeah, which I'm
seriously, dude, seriously, cheers to that, because I really want to join that club.
I got the
but
box.
I'm so scared to go put that many miles on my truck.
I got the box. I should probably hold on to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
what he's talking about is the Chevrolet Truck Legends. So basically, if you owned more than one Chevrolet truck, or if you have, or is it over 100,000 miles?
100,000 miles.
Yeah, I should know this. We should know this because it's our job. But I'm in that Truck Legends program because my 14 Silverado, and I've owned multiple GM trucks over the years, but my current 14 Silverado has 200 and almost 18,000 miles on it.
Jeez.
Take a bigger drink than me. You got to catch up. Chug, 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 chug. How do you like this, by the way?
It's good.
It's
smooth.
good.
Yeah.
And this is not one that I've really had before. I try my best to change it up a little bit because I'm usually drinking 2 different brands, and you know this from the podcast. If you're watching, Glenlivet brands and Balvenie brands. Those are my 2 favorites. And I gotta show you a picture of my Scotch collection at home too.
I've seen it.
Did I show it to you?
You showed me.
Okay, good deal.
Just like your cigar collection, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember showing you the cigar collection, but
beyond the top case.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's
pretend we don't know.
I don't want to give it anyway. Because somebody watching could have,
known.
they wouldn't have known, but they would know now.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's why, motherfucker. That's why they say. It's not like that. You don't even know. All right, so this is pretty good though. All right, let's do this. Let's do one more toast. We're gonna refill this, and we're gonna get into some vintage clothing with my good friend Daniel here.
Thank you, Ed.
So Daniel, like you brought up earlier, Daniel, vintage clothing connoisseur. Is there a proper verbiage?
Honestly, I think I know nothing.
Whatever.
I know.
Grab some ice and let's go.
All professionals will say that they know nothing, but seriously, I know nothing. Connor teaches me everything. So I would go into a store and I would just literally ask him. I'd say, "Hey, is this worth anything?"
Is that the rude guy who's like, if you don't know anything, he kicks you out?
One of my 5 best friends.
Okay. Sorry. I'll rewatch this and remember.
Dominic and Angelo, they own the shop, but Connor, that's my right-hand man. If we're going out to shops, he's right next to me. So if I pick something out and I'll be like, "Hey, check this out. Is this cool?" And he'll be like, "Yeah, it's all right. I mean, it's not going to make any money, but
it's all right.
If you like it, it's cool."
But he's direct and honest with you.
Yeah.
And by the way, we just polished this off, so.
There you go. There you go. Cheers to that.
Yeah, we're going to cheers that. I'm going to put this bottle off the side since we're done with it, but Glen Murray. Wait.
Sponsor us. We would have 2 bottles if you did.
Call me.
Ed Madison right here. If you sponsor us on the second bottle, I'm going to do another one of these podcasts a year from now.
God, I hope you're going to do another one.
Seriously, I will.
Yeah. I feel like we're not even going to get to everything
This will be
today.
a consistent trend because I'm going to come through with other props and we're going to keep it going.
The great thing about coworkers, and I know we're going to get back to Connor and everything we were talking about, but the great thing about coworkers, we're on the road for a week. Yeah,
we're all we have.
We're all we have.
We're all we have out here.
I've got young Danielson here with me, and we're and we're just basically having some drinks and trying to kill some time. And why not just record the bullshitting, right?
Exactly.
You know what's great about this too? I get drunk, you get drunk, but at least we have something to look back and remember it on.
Exactly.
Because there's some things I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna watch this on my Xbox One in full 4K.
It's too bad he's an Xbox guy. That just kind of killed it one notch for me.
I'm sorry. I was thinking of getting a PlayStation Pro with the Red Dead bundle, but I just bought Red Dead. And I was like, why am I going to buy another one?
Oh my God. So we're not even going to have time to talk about everything, but after we get done with vintage clothing, if we have time, can we talk about...
Yeah, games. Dude,
yes.
I love games.
Me too. Gamer for life.
Fucking love games.
Dude, we could probably do a whole other podcast on games.
Yeah.
So Glen Murray, just saying. So, We're done with this then too. By the way, look how fancy as fuck this is. Is this like black leather? Yeah, Embassy Suites. If you're watching this too, I'll take more points. Just saying, you know.
Well, from what I've heard at the front desk, they do not offer points if you refuse room service. So, room service, please come to my room. It's dirty.
If you refuse room service.
If you refuse room service, I asked them. I was like, hey, can I get points? Because I don't care if I'm
dirty.
Yeah.
I don't care either. Whatevs. I'm clean. I'll clean up after myself.
Exactly. Yeah. And I saw that, and he was like, no, this is one of the few locations where we do not offer that promotion.
Bummer.
Yeah.
So, you know, the other bad part about that is that they're going to walk in and be like, oh, first night, huh?
Glen Murray.
Well, one bottle by yourself. They don't, I mean, hopefully they'll understand. I feel like it's weird if you're in housekeeping, you walk in, you see this, you're like,
extremely casual.
What's going on in here?
They don't think about that. They do what they do.
Let me make your bed and fluff your pillows. Let me check your towels.
You know, I'm not talking bad of anything. I started from valet. Honestly, keeping me grounded. Everyone is awesome.
Daniel, you're awesome.
Everyone is awesome. Everyone has their own part in this world. If we're all able to accept the fact that we're all together in this, we can all be happy.
You know, everything is awesome. Everything's cool when you're part of a team.
Lego movie. Seriously. What better way? No.
He's got all kinds of wise
This is the
thoughts.
25 minutes. If you have skipped out until this part of the video,
should we timestamp it for him in the description?
This is where we are.
This is where we are. And we haven't even touched on the props. So Daniel, this is so awesome. I'm really excited about this one with Daniel because not only we talk about a lot of fun stuff, but with our work, manual transmissions, vintage stuff. He's a vintage connoisseur collector, vintage collector. What's your exact title again? You said you don't have one.
I don't.
What would you?
I really don't.
What should I call you?
I'm a product trainer.
North Central Region.
North Central Region.
And it's
Chicago.
It's his 21st birthday.
If you've seen me, you know.
I don't know if any dealers are going to be watching this, just to be clear.
I doubt it.
I don't know.
But honestly, this is awesome. I love this experience. I wanted to do this from the very moment at Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Oh, yes.
Seriously, at that moment when I was like, what? Ed wants to smoke cigars right now? Dude, why are we not over at this lounge right now? What are we doing here?
That was a bummer situation and bummer night. I don't even want to talk about it.
It's fine. It's fine. We're here now. So
well, let's forget the past and focus on the now.
The first
and
piece.
the future, like you said earlier.
Sure. Yeah.
We need to work together.
Mm-hmm. Me
and Daniel, we work together all the time.
But we're living in the present.
He's putting up with me still. I mean, I had that's what he'd be doing. He'd be like, this tomorrow. So he has to basically, do you want to describe what you have to do tomorrow without giving away too much?
So I am in charge of following the yellow brick road. I am in charge of directing the next step.
Because
there is a chance. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Basically, I'm going to get him so drunk tonight with this that his job that he has to do this week, it doesn't matter. He can just do what he's got to do, and he'll survive. Daniel's an asset, though, to the McDonald's program.
Yes.
He totally is. So
I am learning, too. I know there's a lot of things I need to work on. I believe in knowing that there is much more to work on, and I will strive for it.
He's a good kid, though. Good kid.
Honestly, this is the best job I've ever had.
Yeah.
I'd say that every time to people, and they kind of don't believe me, like I'm just kind of bullshitting it. But seriously, I fucking love this life.
Where else are you going to be able to drink scotch on the road and have a podcast?
Fucking love this life.
Fucking love it.
I'm in Minnesota right now. Like, what am I doing here?
He's McLovin' it. I'm loving it. That's the McDonald's saying. It's what we live by. It's really what we live by, right?
Yeah, I'm feeling the Glen Murray. Glen Murray.
Is it more? I don't know how to pronounce it properly. I'm assuming it's Glen.
I'm sure it's Murray.
Murray.
Yeah, because they want it to be fancy.
We're extra here on the Ed Madison Podcast Project, so we drink Glen Moray. That almost sounds French.
It's Moray. I'm sure.
Moray.
I'm sure it's it's Scottish. So.
Moray. Moray.
They've delegated this, and they have realized that Moray was the best option.
It's a 12-year Moray. So, getting back, we got the props. Daniel brought a lot of cool stuff.
I have.
He's a vintage collector. He knows the patterns at the flea markets and the Salvation Armies and the Goodwills.
And
he knows
the shittiest of shit.
He's stalking you, dumping your shit off at Goodwill.
I see that shit, and I know what it's worth.
A mile away. And I respect the man who does good reconnaissance. Right?
Sure, yeah.
Or pre-work. Speaking of pre-work, we did nothing for this.
Nope.
He did. He brought some, you didn't, but you did. He brought some props.
Well, I thought about bringing the Elon Musk flamethrower. I wanted the full Joe Rogan experience from this feature.
This is not Joe Rogan on any level. I just want to be clear. But can you explain the let's do this before we get into the props, which maybe that'll be like the climax of this.
Sure.
Talk about the flamethrower and everything about that.
So how many hats did he make? Do you know? It was like 10,000 or 20,000 or something.
I don't know. It's something like that, right?
But he made 20,000 flamethrowers off a movie. Elon Musk, you're crazy. That's insane, dude.
He's watching this too. I want you to know.
I'm sure that when you thought of this flamethrower, you're like, I gotta sell this worldwide. This has got to go beyond Los Angeles.
Limited quantities. Get them while you can.
And because of that, I remember vividly, I hopped out the shower in a late night from a day of dirtiness. And I look at my text messages, and one of my friends says, "Hey, I think you'd like this flamethrower." Like, what?
And what would make you think that?
Josiah Ramirez, creator of Nightmare. You're the reason why I have a flamethrower under my bed right now.
You know the nice thing about a flamethrower like that, and technically it's not a flamethrower.
It's not a flamethrower. It's really a torchlight with you've seen the Joe Rogan interview. He describes all that.
Tell them where they can find that link.
Below.
It's kind of like it's not a flamethrower. I mean, it looks like one, but
it looks awesome. It's like I like to describe it as a super soaker that I wish I've ever had. It's crazy.
Can I make
and
one?
I don't want to even use it.
Can I make one observation compared to what he just said? He mentioned super soakers. When you shoot a super soaker, I'm trying to pump it, right? But when you shoot it though, it's like a flaccid stream.
It is.
It's like a flaccid stream.
It's like a 1 second of wonderment, and then after that, it's just kind of
the opposite though. The opposite of, so if you look at, instead of a super soaker, you look at a flamethrower from Elon Musk, right? A boring? Is that a boring? What's brand on it? They call
Boring Company, yep.
Yeah. So basically, instead of a flaccid stream, the flamethrower, it's a more of a.
So when I tested the demo version in Chicago, in front of the presentation display, they just told me, "Hey, the trigger is broken, so it's just gonna shoot out straight flames." Just so you know, we don't want this aiming towards you. We want it aiming in a good picture motion.
Just to be clear, the gun was broke, just like most of the Tesla products that are out on the road.
Thank you. Sorry, Elon Musk. I'm sorry.
Sorry, you hipsters out there. Just saying. Just kidding. Not
seriously.
hipsters. That sounds awful.
That's a real thing.
It is.
I wish that it wasn't a real thing, because I wouldn't be classified under that, because I'm far from that.
The comment section is going to blow up now.
It's going to blow up hugely, because they're going to be like, "Hey, this guy's in a Stone Island sweater saying he's not a hipster." And I'm going to tell you straight up, on my, is this third?
Fourth? You got no ice. Just saying.
The ice is melted, guys.
It's perfect just for you to chug it at this point. So,
and because of that,
far
from a hipster.
I didn't think he was a hipster at all.
Yeah.
The dude knows how to. The dude. Sorry for calling you the dude.
I would love to be called the dude.
The dude. We don't have white Russians here. If you catch that, you catch that reference.
From forgot his name. I'm sorry.
He's so young. It's okay.
I'm sorry, I forgot his name. But I'm
Jeff Bridges, the Big
bathrobe.
Lebowski.
Big Lebowski. Right?
Yep. But the dude knows manual transmissions. He knows what else. I'm drunk. What else?
I appreciate the past.
He appreciates the past.
I love the past more than the future because we all know where the future is going.
He's inspirational. He knows manual transmissions. He wants to live in the country.
I love to live in the country.
If I could make...
I would love to have 20 acres and like a fucking fishing pond where I'm fishing nothing. Like I'll seriously just sit there with a fishing rod for 7 hours and realize there's nothing coming up. I'm cool with it.
If I could adopt Daniel,
cool with it, man.
if I could adopt him, I would adopt him. I'm just saying.
Thank you, Ed.
All right, thank you. Fair enough.
This is it. This is the last class. You've made it this far.
We need to get to the props. So, okay, I know we're getting all over the place, and this has been a lot of fun. So, Daniel has brought some props. He's going to show props, and I want you to start with one. He basically brought these in like some zip up bags. What do you call those?
So this does not require a zipping bag, but
a zipping bag, is that what those officially are called?
They're not. They're called. It doesn't require this, but the reason why I cherish this so much is because it's made by my friend Josiah Ramirez.
Show it, explain it, show it. I'm gonna give it over to Daniel. Let him talk.
So this is a pre-nightmare Dear America hoodie, and you'll find on the patch that is screen printed on this champion style hoodie.
Can I touch it?
Sure, yeah, definitely. Screen printed graphic of Shine, the rapper. He's Belizean, just like my friend Josiah, but with a Cubs hat on. And you can see that he's in distress. And the reason why he's in distress is because of this insignia here called Dear America. This is Josiah's first thought of making a hoodie. And he thought that it would be best described as Shine displaying the nightmare that is to come. So,
what is the nightmare to come in his mind?
Nightmare systems is a huge thing. People love dreaming. They'll dream of anything. They'll dream of success. They'll dream of life, and they'll dream of happiness. But people don't realize that there's another side of dreams, nightmares, which gives you a full glimpse of what you do not want to see, but you still see it. That's pretty deep.
That is pretty deep.
For him to even come up with a brand called Nightmare is pretty deep, because I'm surprised that everyone does it. Everyone starts off with a screen printed t-shirt and a screen printed hoodie, and they'll think they're fucking Picasso at the end of the day. They'll be like, hey, I'm gonna charge $70 for this. People are gonna buy it. Josiah's different though. He only sells to people that are well connected to the vision of what he wants to see. He wants to see something where it's not just hipsters. It's not just a classified brand of fucking trust fund kids that can afford damn near everything that we have. He wants to offer it to people that have only so much and can get so much and have this product. It's a one-of-a-kind piece where only... So I say one-of-a-kind. I mean, seriously, there's only like 5 pieces per size run of this product, which means there's only 25 in existence, and I have one of them. And I'm very proud to say that, because I've known this guy since Madison High School in Chicago, that he has the vision to know what it means to be a designer house. Like Balenciaga or not Versace. That's the lowest, like Gucci, or like YSL, or which is now Saint Laurent, or Louis Vuitton, or Chanel. some kind of aspect where we go that high, we're able to see that this $60 becomes $1,000. That's what we're trying to see. If people can see that, they can understand why we have so much passion in our product, why we're giving them more than $60. Because it's not just about us making a profit, it's about us realizing that there is boundaries to break, that the standard is not more than the bar that F-150 claims. You know what I'm saying? Jeez.
Inside kind of, McDonald's
inside
thing.
McDonald's joke. There's a lot to offer to the consumer that they don't even know what's coming yet. And that's the magic of it. That's the real magic of it. That there's always something else that makes us amp it up to just wow. Just give you that wow factor. The wouldn't own without factor is what I've learned in the past year. And because of that, my passion has gotten so much higher now that the sky is the limit. There's so much more that we can do.
That's so cool.
And we're just doing it. We're just here. We're just living it. Hopefully it transcends, but if it doesn't, fuck it. We'll let it ride out and we'll see where we can go with it. But this passion, just like with anything in life, this passion exceeds all boundaries.
It does. It does. Cheers to that. Cheers to that, man.
If you don't know, I'm drunk.
That's okay. That was a powerful moment.
And it was super powerful.
It was,
so when I meant from that text message from pre-podcast, when I was like, I have a lot of stuff that I need to say.
Get it off your chest, right?
This is it.
That was Daniel's drunken text to me in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
This was it.
There's a lot of I'd have to look
There's
up.
a lot I need to get off my chest.
That's basically what it was. And I've
and
got
it's
that text.
Beyond the whole like superficial hipster trust fund kid that I mentioned earlier, where there's so much money that they're just like blowing it, so that they're like, oh hey, if this is what's cool, let me buy like 3 of those. Let me like feed into this propaganda. Let me go into this blah. That's such a hipster thing for me to say, propaganda.
That's okay.
Youth, culture.
Kids these days, right?
Oh my God. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. I wish I was born in the 80s so that I can just be like, geez, oh my God, stop saying those
did you
fucking
really just
words.
say that? Jesus Christ.
No, dude, seriously?
Born in the 80s. I'm born in the 80s, motherfucker.
Seriously?
I'm old.
82, which my brother was born, and 86, which my cousin Roxy Viterillo was born. Oh my God, those times were the best. I was born in 92, so like it's not too far off, but still, it's like...
Dude, I was born in 83, obviously, because I'm a year younger than your brother.
That's fucking awesome. Because you know why? Because Paul Walker was just another guy to you. He was just like, dude, this guy's a fucking Porsche Carrera GT. It was different back then. It was just a lot more like simpler.
But here's the
now
thing.
it's just like so many variables.
But if you think about it, you said the 80s was such a great time, but for us, your brother, me, your sister?
Oh, my cousin.
I'm
Roxy,
sorry.
Yeah.
You only have one sibling?
Yep,
your brother?
Just my brother, yeah.
We don't fucking remember any of that.
Exactly.
We don't remember any of that.
And that's the best. That's the best because the times that you don't remember are the times that you cherish the most because you're trying to look for those new, that feeling, that same feeling that we've always had within us, where it's like that Prelude.
89 Prelude,
That
SI.
championship yellow Prelude. Those feelings where it's just like, shit, this is it. What's better than this? Like, yeah, it's kids. It's foundation for the future. It's in a remembrance of. But this is it right here. That championship yellow Prelude was it.
It was it.
An SI version in a manual, pulling up to school, parking it up, lifting up the e-brake.
Oh, fucking, you know it.
Lifting
you
up the
know it.
fucking
so
e-brake.
Satisfying. So satisfying.
And then turning it off.
The best fucking part, lifting up that e-brake, I'm like, fuck yeah.
That was
the white one,
best.
the first one I had, the SI, it was trash. I mean, it was like not trash, but it was rusty,
but
old,
you
beat
still
up.
lifted up the e-brake.
But there was a lot of travel in that one. Like the e-brake, like you go up like, is this supposed to go this way? the yellow one.
It didn't matter at that point.
It didn't. But the yellow one made me appreciate it so much more because it was like, it was tight. Tight.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Nice segue there.
Tight. And you know what? It was probably one of the most satisfying things in me of driving vehicles is a manual transmission car that I own that's got a nice, it's tight.
Right.
Tight butthole, right?
Right.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, of course.
I love that. I was so bummed that day when I knew it. Like it was the only accident I've ever had in my life. But when I slid into the back of that truck
to remember, though, because,
on ice, I'm like...
Because after 200 and what thousand miles?
On that Prelude?
No, on your Silverado.
200 and almost 218-ish.
On 218 miles, you've realized that this is going to be it for you. That this is fucking forever. Forever is the best feeling because I can't find that in a woman. I'm sorry to all the women out there. To all the feminists out there, I'm sorry.
Bitches.
Because
I'm just kidding. By the way, my girlfriend's a feminist, so not feminist. You know what I mean.
Your girlfriend's awesome.
She's awesome.
Because she thought that I was like, what, 16?
Remember when I sent that picture to her?
That was awesome.
When we were smoking and
drinking?
That
was fucking awesome. But
to
all of those women, I am incredibly sorry. To my parents, I'm incredibly sorry because I didn't have that opportunity to give that perfect woman my entire everything. Because the last serious relationship I've been in kind of broke me to the point where I've got to be independent and I've got to go and get my own and I've got to support myself before I can support someone else.
Yep.
But dude, that's not how love works, man. Support works in the fucking fucked up worst of ways.
I understand.
And because of that, I'm sorry to all those women out there. I don't think I'm a catch, but my mom thinks I'm a catch.
I think he's a catch. I mean, I'm about ready to adopt this motherfucker. So, I mean, that's how...
Dude, but in all seriousness, apart from the Asianness, I'm going to be in Japan in March. That's the first time I'm ever going out of country, by the way.
Nice.
Because our PC, because she told us that I got to use my PTOs.
You have that much built up?
I've never had PTOs in my life. So for me to have this much built up, I was just like, what the fuck do I do with this?
Holy shit. Wait. You haven't been here for a full year, though. And you've got how much? Hold on. Really quick. How much PTO?
I've got over 100 hours.
Damn. I mean,
I've got over 100 hours.
The microphone caught that, but...
to the point where it's like, dude, what the fuck am I doing? I gotta relax.
I'm glad you're going to, oh my gosh, we don't have time to talk about all this. We do, but we don't. It's like, so you're going to Japan in March.
Right.
What do you...
With my friend Philip Lamb. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So I don't want to skip over a whole lot. I feel like I need to cover some tracks just really quick. We talked about women and stuff like that without getting too deep into it. And I mentioned my girlfriend's a feminist. She's super fucking awesome. Here's the deal. I feel like a lot of feminists, and no offense to my girlfriend, I know she's probably going to watch this. She knows that I love her. I feel like humanist sometimes is more appropriate. You believe in people just having just no bullshit nonsense, equal rights. My girlfriend is not one of the feminists that you're probably thinking of.
Is it more constrict? No, don't worry about that. Don't answer that question. For me to rebuttal against that, it's for me to say that love truly exists.
I will tell you this, is that she says she's a feminist and everything she talks about, I'm like, well, yeah, that's common sense stuff. And I don't consider myself a feminist.
Dude, you have love. Please be appreciative of love because for you to have 2 kids and still be in love, dude, that's fucking awesome, man.
It's crazy. It's been a wild
fucking
trip.
Awesome,
It's been a
dude.
wild trip.
I would
dude.
have fucking 7 PlayStation 4s. I swear to God, I would have so many PlayStation 4s.
We do have 3.
I don't know what to do with them.
We do have 3 in the house. The boys each have their own PlayStation
I need
4.
one. I need one of those. So, Glenn Murray, if you're able to appreciate the support that we have for this podcast,
We'll take Scotch and PlayStation 4s.
We will take PlayStation 4s.
Can we at least say PlayStation 4 Pros at this point? I mean,
Pros, only pros. If you give us that fucking $200 bullshit,
I wanted
we will not accept.
this man is legit serious. Do not fuck with him. I will tell you this. I may have 3 PlayStations, but they're all PlayStation 4s regulars. I don't have a Pro yet.
It's all good. It's all good because at that moment, it's just like when I bought Chromecast. 2 for $45.
What did you almost say?
2
when
podcasts. 2 for $45 Chromecast
Thanks.
at Best Buy via Cyber Monday deal.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Cyber Monday. You know what? I didn't buy my 3.1 channel audio surrounder, my 49-inch Sony X900 or 900, whatever, like my living room TV.
Bravia.
But instead, Bravia. But instead, I decided to buy my kids a bunch of cool Cyber Monday deals instead.
It's all for the kids.
Fuck.
We gotta say it's all for the kids.
I'm gonna tell you this: enjoy your life without children. And I love my children, and I know my oldest watches this.
It's all for the kids. You gotta realize it's all for the kids. I don't want to hear no more youth or culture. It's all for the kids.
Can I tie back really quick?
Yeah, sure. Yes.
So I mentioned my girlfriend's a feminist, and she talks about these things that she's like, yeah, I'm a feminist. I'm like, yeah. Well, I believe in those things too, and I don't consider myself a feminist. Does that make us a humanist? You just believe in equal rights for everything and everybody? Or what does that mean? I don't even know what humanist means, but I feel like the kids, the love, the thing is just be good to fucking each other.
Exactly.
Stop. Guess what?
No more judgmental bullshit.
I'm going to quote a band. Of mine, and I listen.
Dude, Kurt Cobain wore a fucking dress.
He did, because he didn't give a fuck, but
he
also
didn't give a shit, dude.
Drugs. Anyway, but also, but also, there's only us. To quote a newer band not new to me, called Thrice. One of their recent songs is called "It's Only Us," meaning that you got to look past everything in life and understand that it is only us. We have to be, like you were saying together earlier. I feel like what I remember without rewatching it because I'm fucking drunk is that it is only us. It is us out there. We need to understand, right? As a whole,
Seriously.
It's not just me and you. It's not me. It's not you. My godson that I'm going to adopt soon.
Thank you.
But there's only us out there. We need to be good to each other. You don't have to be considered a feminist or even a humanist. Just be good to each other and love what you have in your life and be grateful. The biggest thing that I found recently too, you have to appreciate what you have in your life. Whether you've created that or you've fallen into that, trust fund babies aside, is that, we need to be grateful for what we have because this life's going to be over quickly. I may never have an opportunity again to do this with Daniel.
We will though.
Oh, fucking right, we will.
We will,
but just think about it, though. This is like an opportunity and a moment we should never forget.
There's going to be a part 2, I swear.
Or another episode.
There's going to be a part 2.
There'll be another episode in the future.
I'm going to try and break these view barriers because honestly, Ed deserves more.
He's drunk.
More.
Just don't listen.
No,
he's drunk.
Please hear me out here at this moment in time. In all of that we have, thank you for adjusting my microphone.
Dynamic
Microphone. In all that we have.
What do we have?
Too much. We have too much stuff. Too much stuff to make us think that we deserve more. Too much stuff that we think that there's other people, other shit. Other stuff that we care about. I am so humbly appreciative that we have this opportunity to speak for us. Not just for me or I or you, but for us as a whole conglomerate of us, that we're able to showcase that we're what's now.
There's only us.
We're what's here.
There's only us.
To be appreciative of those that came before us. The passion that exudes from our hearts. I'm so appreciative that I even have the chance to live. To even think about the fact that I might have 20 acres with a fucking four-wheeler.
Can I come hang out?
I wish you could hang out. I wish that I had 20 acres. I wish that I had fucking all that shit. All of the fucking carbon fiber tiered 1%, all that shit. I wish I had all that shit so that I can share it. Not just for me, but for all, so that when they come see that shit, they feel inspired that it's not just about the shit, it's about us.
There's only us.
Holy shit, dude. This is the most informative podcast that you might ever see. And please, if you're still watching, I'm sorry that I've gotten this drunk.
Don't ever apologize. Are you
I'm
kidding
so
me?
sorry that I've gotten this drunk. Because a lot of people think, hey, you can't beat this drunk. You can't.
They've never had Scotch. They've only
They've
drank
never,
Bud Light.
They've
Daniel.
never had anything besides Johnny Walker.
Oh, God.
Because, tell me, how does that blended shit work? Because that single malt.
You ready for this? One quick lesson, then we got to get to his last prop.
Okay,
I
let's
feel
see.
like we're not even gonna get to like video games at this point.
We've got so much time right now that it doesn't make sense, but we're here.
I mean, I feel like we're 2 hours in. It's gonna be the longest podcast yet.
We're
It's
here.
okay. I feel like Glen Murray, we needed a second bottle. Just saying. Okay, so I'm gonna do my best drunk ed version of a quick explanation for Daniel. Are you ready?
Sure.
You asked blended Scotch.
Yes.
This is a single malt, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Single malt means link below. I'm just kidding. I'm not putting a link below on this one. Single malt means that all the whiskey came from one distillery. Single meaning one,
Right.
malt meaning distillery.
So it could be multiple.
So blended, no. Single, one, malt, distillery. So everything came from one location.
Mm-hmm.
And the 12 represents that the oldest Scotch that they had was used in this bottle was from a 12-year-old barrel.
Ah, so they put the 12 as the main one.
Which is legit. So they're
Right.
using a significant portion of this bottle, and I'll correct me if I'm wrong out there, and I'll double check this later when I'm not drunk. But a significant portion of this batch, right?
Right.
The oldest Scotch at this distillery, the oldest barrel they
Was 12.
was a 12-year-old one.
Right.
The rest is blended in from. So technically, all Scotch.
Oh, Glen Murray, you gotta sponsor us now. You gotta sponsor my man Ed, because he understands the meaning of your years.
Exactly.
He can realize that this right here is probably this much 12 year.
Yeah, somewhere in this area, right?
Glen Murray, please stop this man and give him 17 year for free.
Madness. All right, so
Jeez.
basically, so the 12-year, we know that a somewhat of a portion of this is 12 years old.
Right. But the majority.
Is again,
Cask.
single malt, so it's from them,
Right.
the same place,
Right.
just a newer
Glen Murray, Belvini, or
Glenlivet.
Glenlivet. If you're watching this right now, which I hope you are, because out of the so many billions of people that are out here right now, please let the one be you, so that you can see that I need 2 bottles to get me feeling right. I need more than 1 bottle so that I can spit some real facts to how you can gross profit your income off these distilleries.
So my friend Daniel, he's an alcoholic right now, and he's letting you know that he needs 2 bottles in a session.
I need at least 2 bottles, because this bottle right here signifies less than 12 years.
Well, a portion of it is significant.
A portion.
Right.
A portion.
So let's get back to Johnny Walker shit beer. Or shit, not beer, shit beer.
Shit whiskey.
Shit whiskey, shit blended whiskey. So basically, Johnny Walker, from what I understand, blended whiskey means not only is it blended from that same distillery, they're buying shit from brand A, brand B, brand C, brand D.
Can you see where this has been going in the past hour? We're not trying to break down any topics that you consider right now. We're trying to get this man a sponsorship, because from how many? 15?
15 what?
15.
14th episode. No. 15th episode.
Counting this one as the 15th.
This is the
episode.
15th.
Please sponsor this man, because he has plenty more to go. Don't trust Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is not one to be trusted. He's not one to be trusted.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm not monetized. You know what? I'm not getting paid to do this. This is my money out of my own pocket to do this shit at this point.
Yes.
I mean, I'll switch over to monetize.
This is his own money. Do you hear this right now?
Broke. When you work at McDonald's and you sweep floors for a living.
Don't demonetize people from McDonald's, because we come from a good place. We come from a place where second bottles don't exist.
I drove a Prelude SI, not once.
A Prelude SI, but
Not
twice. One being championship yellow. Please. This needs to be 2.
Broke. I need Scotch. All right. So
Glen Murray.
So okay, really quick. So we understand single malts, right?
Right.
Same distillery.
Yep.
The oldest.
We talked a lot about all that. Yeah. We talked a lot.
But the Johnny Walker blended though. So basically, it's like wineries. They're like, okay, we're gonna make a wine, but we're gonna
try and do it the best we can.
We're gonna do the best we can. We're gonna get wine from this company and this company and this company and this company and this company. Not from here, but from California, Arizona, Canada, and all those places. And they're like, okay, we're gonna put this shit in a melting pot and kind of stir it a little bit and dump it in a bottle. That's exactly what a blended whiskey is. A blended Scotch whiskey. It's not theirs. It's just a bunch of other companies. Yeah. It's
Sorry
like
for that intermission there.
It's the seconds.
I had to clean myself up because I knew I was drunk.
You haven't even finished his drink yet. Look at him. He's still got a little bit more. I'm done.
I didn't even realize I had more drink left. I'm sorry.
Now that I'm crunching ice, we're done with our drink.
We got to end this within 20 minutes, I swear.
One more prop?
I think, yeah.
Well, really quick, before you pull out the other prop, really quick. So you brought out the first prop, which was Nightmare?
I did, yes. Nightmare Systems by Josiah Ramirez. His name on Instagram is The Shine, SHYNE, continues. The Shine continues onwards to...
Next one he brought another prop. I'm excited about this. Nobody's ever brought props.
I swear, this is the most incredible prop I've ever brought.
Did you see that light flicker? That was weird. Anyway.
Because I'm sorry that I hit that light.
Oh my god, it's flickering. What the fuck's going on with that light?
This is the most detailed artwork that you're ever going to see.
This hotel room's haunted.
Made by Adam and Even, ADAMANVEVEN.
Is it on a North Face hanger?
It's on a North Face hanger. It's a troll. This is made out of multiple pieces of vintage clothing. This is at least 5 pieces of vintage clothing. So that if you see inside the pocket here, it's on some real Matrix ass shit because
Fucking Matrix.
Because it has a phone label right there.
Show me.
Just so that you can put fucking coins in it. So that you can use the payphone. Dude, honestly, what the fuck was Adam and Eve thinking when they made this?
They were thinking North Face and Patagonia, it looks like.
Patagonia and North Face. By the way, this is a woman's Patagonia on a men's jacket. How the fuck did they stitch 5 pieces of outerwear jackets onto this piece?
This is rougher than my nutsack.
Dude, touch this shit. Holy shit, is this quality?
This is nice. I mean, this is.
And when we open this up, all right, hold up. Let's try to break this shit down.
Break it down now.
Because at the bottom piece at the back, we can see.
Looks nice.
Let's break this back in the back.
Go for it.
We can see pieces of which the hunting material comes into play.
Hunting.
When we unhook this button.
Can you unbutton those? So that pocket?
Full duck hunting pockets.
Can I put my iPad in there?
You can't. You can put more than a fucking iPad in here. You put a full fucking duck in here.
Wait, mallard or what are we talking about? What kind of
Dude,
duck?
Ed, seriously.
This is pretty cool. This is the back of the coat, right?
This is the back of the coat.
I'm going to adjust my mic. Okay, this is the back of the coat.
This is the back of the coat. 5 different pockets. Hold on. Let's try to bring this back to full fruition. Let me take this fucking North Face hanger off. Let me show you this hoodie here. Not only is it one hoodie for the inner lining, but it's 2 different hoodies for the main hoodie. Look at this shit. 1, 2. Dude, how the fuck did this guy make this?
It's unique. 101?
I know
101?
it is one of one.
101.
It is one of one, but dude, how did he fabricate 5 different pieces to make it one single piece? That shit blows my mind because the YKK zipper on this guy. By the way, YKK, for those vintage collectors that don't know what YKK is,
Explain it.
is one of the best zippers that one could purchase. So for him to even connect 1, 2, 3, 4 different pieces to this one jacket, he called this shit the twins jacket. Dude, I didn't even want to bring my Rolex into this podcast. I have a Chrome Hearts Rolex from 1992, valued at $5,000, which I bought for $2,000 of my own money, which I wouldn't have even afforded if I didn't have this job.
Thanks, McDonald's.
In all seriousness, thank you, McDonald's. In all seriousness, this jacket is a true one of one piece.
What is this? Can you explain this? The piece here that's like
so
signed
at
or
this
something?
piece right here, he designs his name. He wrote Adam and Even, aka Justin Gambra. He made this piece all by himself, without the work of his team, without any type of accessories. He made this one jacket by himself.
How much is something like this worth?
When I purchased this jacket, it was $680.
Nice.
I won't let this go for more than $5,000.
Fucking eBay.
Fucking eBay. I swear to you. Listen to me. Warren Lotus style type of marketing. Jesus Christ. A lot of these pieces are exclusive so that those who appreciate it can recommend it.
That's pretty awesome. So 101 And that's pretty awesome to hear that story. Are they making a lot of unique pieces then?
They don't.
They don't. How many did they make?
They only make maybe one every 3 months.
That's it?
Maybe 4 every year.
So it's like let me ask you a question. So Evan and Even or what?
Adam and Even.
Adam and Even.
Adam and Even. Just like the fucking biblical fucking prophet. Adam and Even.
So let me ask you a question because I'm just trying to learn. That's the great thing about this podcast. I'm always
I
learning.
gotta take a piss. Give that break right now. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I gotta take a piss.
That's okay. It will make it happen. So the only thing I'm like trying to figure out from Daniel next is like, so we've got these unique pieces, right? And these people, these creators, these artists, they're creating these awesome one-off pieces. I was like, how long does it take to get the materials and the pieces together? And you're like, okay, I've got what I need. I'm going to create this one-off piece. That's what I'm just curious to know when Daniel gets back. And we're seeing these pieces, and it's like Daniel, obviously he got these from people that more or less locals or to Chicago area that he knows or that are well-known, people that make one-off pieces. But it's like for those that do this with vintage clothing or they create their own vintage clothing that'll one day be worth tons of money or even today is worth tons of money. It's like, where do you come up with your inspiration? I feel like that's the biggest thing that we need to figure out from Daniel next is like inspiration. Where does it come from? And where do you take that? Where do you take that inspiration, right? I think I just moved the camera by accident. So I was stretching out my legs. It's been a little while. So Daniel's using the restroom. Oh, remember, careful. We got the tightrope there. Is it easier to go around? You got this. So my camera, he's coming around. I moved the camera when you were going to the bathroom. I've got my camera hooked up to a power supply on the wall, like across the room. And it's like, he's got to walk over it. So did you hear what I was talking about when you're gone?
Oh, yeah.
So it was like these people, when they're creating these one-off masterpieces, are they like building up their supply of thrift store and flea market and Goodwill finds? They're like, all right, let's put together what we found.
They don't.
How does that process work?
They don't, because a lot of these people are just out to make money.
Not these people, or
no.
What do we mean these?
Outside what people? Of my community
in Chicago, you mean, or what do you mean?
Of
people you know? What do you mean?
People that I know.
Okay, go on. Like Nightmare and Adam and Even.
They construct their own parameters to where they're able to see what they want to see.
Yeah.
So that when I show this piece right here.
The last one. Adam and Even. Those lights are fucked up.
With the flickering lights. I swear.
It's
this shit is
not. And this shit.
This shit is not meant to flicker.
Oh, damn.
With this multiple piece segment,
I need to get wireless
right
headphones.
No. This is perfect. Because Ed, honestly, after this one bottle
Glen Murray, 12 year
of Glen
single
Murray,
malt,
12 year.
Do you remember why that's called single malt?
Let me know. This is probably the craziest interview you've ever seen. All right, so hold up. This one Patagonia piece right here is a woman's vest.
The vest part right here.
This ended up being a woman's vest.
With the zipper XYZ?
Not that I had known, but because I had inspected this jacket to see that it was constructed out of a woman's vest, I had to understand why that was. And because of that, this inner lining here with this woman's vest, which is it's super comfortable, by the way.
The women's vest part is really nice.
This bottom part right here is all men's. And for him to even think about constructing this stitch by stitch by a mechanical stitcher, by the way.
Mechanical? What does that mean? Like a...
basically, it means that fucking you don't have to work as hard.
Just run it through the machine.
You just fucking run it through the machine.
That's fine.
So that
Whatever.
because of
I'm
this,
lazy. I appreciate that.
because of this, Adam and Even wrote their shit right here, and they wrote Adam and Even 1 of 1 as I don't know what the fuck that word says. Basically, signature. I don't know what the fuck that word says.
Smiley face.
As stands.
I don't know. I mean, they can verify it. This will be on Antique Roadshow soon.
Dude.
Not soon, but in like 20 years.
This vintage clothing piece. Is this the first of many of your pieces in the first 15 podcast?
What, the first what?
In the first 15 podcasts, it's the first time there's ever been a prop
Ever.
on your board.
Ever been a
Dude.
prop. Daniel fucking Cabildo. Represent Chicago.
Dude, more than Chicago. More than Chicago.
Oh, I know.
This is from New York. A hunting vest. Look at this.
Wait.
First Patagonia at the bottom with a Minnesota Twins jacket at the half. And then we'll open it up. And then you got 3 fucking different kinds of jackets, which will be 1 Patagonia, 1 Marmot, 1 fucking I don't even know what, which is the main piece of the whole thing.
It's super fucking warm, it looks like.
It is. It's
functional and fashionable.
I could wear it normally and it wouldn't make sense, but at the same time it makes every sense. Hold on.
Wait, your headphones are on, so be careful. You got it. You got an extension on that. It looks good on him. You know what? You're never going to see anything like that again. The good news is, what's the temperature outside right now?
I'm sure it's under 20 degrees Fahrenheit.
I could look and find out.
But Ed has given us more than what this jacket offers. He's given us informative reasoning behind everything that exists. From what we love to what we share.
There's only us.
There's only us.
Fuck. So
I've given... Dude, there's no more left.
I know. Glen Murray. Holla.
Glen Murray, if we had a second bottle, we would know what's left.
Let's do a quick pose really quick for the cover photo. Holla. Holla.
Please, Glen Murray, sponsor us so that we can have 2 bottles by the time we're back again.
When are we going to do this again?
Soon. Very soon.
Next year's tour?
No, more than next year. I can see us happening at the same time we have the Blazer tour.
It's going to happen. So my man
very
here.
Very soon. Very, very soon.
Can we do a recap?
Yeah.
So we talked about a lot of things tonight. Daniel Cabildo, my good man over here. He's I look at him like a good friend and a coworker. And it's almost his 1-year anniversary at McDonald's.
As a family of one. More than McDonald's, we have a construct of pride.
We do.
Pride of which that we can all share. That beyond McDonald's or Hy-Vee or McAllister Deli has to offer.
Fuck Hy-Vee. You
sorry.
better give me some discounts on Scotch.
Hy-Vee is fucking awesome, dude.
It is awesome. But I joke because I'm like, give me some discounts on Scotch.
Dude, Hy-Vee...
Wait, Hy-Vee should sponsor us.
No, I'm sorry. I want to specifically sponsor Glen Murray. Glen Murray. Because... we have quality in our podcast.
Quality over quantity.
We have so much expense that we're able to offer the type of experience that normal podcasts can't.
Who the fuck can offer this?
Nobody. nobody, so that even if those companies offer it, let them know, Ed. Let them know, Ed.
You know what? Here's the deal. To be continued. My good friend here, Daniel Cabildo, has been hanging out.
I have fucking 2 different furs on my face right now.
2 different.
I have fucking 2 different furs on my vest right now. And I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk about it. Because I know where Chicago comes from. There's different faces in which it comes from. Fuck Iraq. Because there's so many different facets at which this precision comes from, that where Chicago and the lifespan of which this vintage shit comes from, it ends up being a lot more than just the name.
This man needed a platform. I'm glad we got together and hang out, because you are the fucking best, Daniel Cabildo. I want you to know you're my brother from an Asian mother. I want you to know that.
Dude.
He is. He's the greatest guy ever.
Dude, a lot of people that came before me, I appreciate them. Dave Crenshaw, Jesus Christ, your voice fucking
booming.
Times 3 times this shit.
Booming.
I swear it does. Don't fucking lose that.
Don't you lose what you got that your mama gave you.
Don't you only lose that, but dude.
Don't lose what your mother gave you.
A lot of life and love,
comes
from
there's only us. There's only us. Daniel, we've learned a lot today from Daniel Cabildo.
Dude, I swear.
Don't take that off yet.
I did not think this shit through.
Don't take that off yet. Hold on, leave it on for one more second, okay?
Hey.
Let's give one more final pose.
I swear, I don't. When I put this shit on, I feel like I'm something different. But when I put this shit on, myself, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm shit. I feel like I'm the lowest of low.
Don't feel like that.
Because no, dude, it humbles me. Because
humble pie.
All of the people that came before me have realized that this is it. So hold the fuck up. Let me hold onto what is it. And let me fucking grab exactly what they expect me to. I want this. I don't care about anything else. I don't care about more or less.
More Scotch.
I want this. I want this, dude.
Oh.
I want this.
Careful the mic.
I want this. I want this, Ed.
I want this.
I want this. I want to cherish everything that was given to me because you're all that I care about.
Dude, I want you to succeed with me. We're a good team, me and you. Daniel Cabildo.
We are because you give me the criticism I need to grow.
We all need
You give
criticism.
me the life that I need to grow.
Me and Daniel Cabildo right here, we've said so much tonight, and this man has been so gracious with his time. And I hope the EMPP community can appreciate what they've checked out
EMPP, by the way,
it's on YouTube. Yes.
Glenn Murray, fucking do what you gotta do.
We're blowing up.
Tell the executives out there. I know there's executives. I know there's people that will tell you that, hey, we can't fucking tell you the good news. But we
can show you the good news. We can't tell you, but we can show you.
Show us the fact that we got what we deserved. Because there's going to be a part 2.
Daniel, in the part 2, just really quick to finish this up here, let's turn this towards you. Part 2. So we got to a lot of good things today. What did we talk about? We talked about cars.
We talked about
manual transmissions.
My family, my brother, my father, My brother able to fucking... I seriously don't know how he's able to do what he does. But in all honesty, it's cool because I'm able to continue what he does.
Can we talk about video games next time?
Oh, yeah, dude.
So,
let's talk about that for the last 10 minutes.
Wait,
let's talk
it would take forever. We'll save for the next one.
No. Let's do it. Let's save it. Let's save it. Because they don't want to wait. People don't want to wait.
I need anticipation.
People don't want to wait. They don't want to wait. They want to fucking hear it.
Really quick.
And real talk, Real Dead Redemption is fucking fire.
You meant Red Dead.
I swear, it's fucking awesome.
We're out of Scotch. I'm going to tell you this really quick. Thank you for hanging out with us, my good friend Daniel Cabildo.
Real Dead Redemption, fire.
Can I tell you something really quick?
Please buy it.
I consider Daniel a friend before a coworker. Thank you. Next time we get together, we're going to talk video games. We're going to talk more collectibles, more vintage. And Daniel Cabildo has been awesome. You want to give one final pose? One final pose.
Man.
Throw it out. Here we go. The cover photo. We're out. We're drunk.
I swear, I didn't come up with any of this stuff.
It's amazing how quickly it happened, right?
It really did.
We'll see you next time. Say goodbye.
Say goodbye.
Bye, Daniel.
Goodbye.
Bye.